Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT coming to you live and direct on Google Hangout. We got two special guests in Philadelphia. We got Mr. Don Juan Banks into the arena.
Thank you.
We have in Las Vegas, Nevada, Mr. Rex Righteous, Rafael Calvo. How you doing, man?
Thank you. What's up?
I'm doing good, man. And obviously, I'm in New York City right now for the fight that we're going to be talking about. So, before we really get into it, just initial thoughts on the Terence Crawford Hank Lundy fight. We'll start with you, Don.
Man, BT, thank you for having me on your show. I had the pleasure and privilege to go to Hank Lundy gym while he was preparing for Terence Crawford, and it's just a feeling from the people that supporting him of just trying to give him as much support as possible to give the best performance as possible tomorrow night.
Yeah. What do you think about just his chances going into this fight?
I'm not giving a prediction on the fight, but I'm really pulling for Hang Lundy in this fight, and I understand that unfortunately for him, he's lost the last two out of his three fights. He has losses on his career. Some are debatable. Mauricio Herrera, they got stopped because of cuts. He said he won that fight. Tomas Delorme, split decision. He felt he won that fight. Ray Beltran, he felt he won that fight. But with John Molina, unfortunately, he was controlling the fight and then he got caught. Not once, but again, and then stopped. And he felt that he gave Victor Postal the biggest challenge he had thus far. But the fact of the matter is he has been dropped in fights in the past, and this is the toughest fight of his career.
Yeah, it's going to be a really, really tough fight for him on, probably the biggest stage he's ever fought on, Madison Square Garden, in the main event. It don't get too much bigger than that in boxing. Raf, let's get your thoughts on this.
I think it's a pretty good matchup. Lundy's coming in hungry, like Don was talking about, and how he covered him and interviewed him, and how he broke down how he's gone through some adversity and stuff like that. And I think that gives a lot of motivation for Lundy, and people are counting him out, but I give him a more than a puncher's chance, and I think it's gonna be a good fight tomorrow. Really looking forward to it.
Yeah, I think what interests me most about this fight is the fact that Crawford's finally in the ring with somebody who can switch both orthodox and southpaw, and that's usually his biggest advantage against pretty much anybody he faces. So I'm interested to see how Hank uses that part of his arsenal to kind of counteract what Terence Crawford usually does really well in the ring.
Yeah, it's to me this is almost it's very close to 50-50. I won't say it is, but it's very close to it because Lundy has had his adversities. So
yeah,
I think it's gonna be a really good fight, and it should be entertaining. I really hope it goes past the 6th round because I want to see how the stamina comes in. I want to see who's who's the champ here. I want to see how it goes. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, man, and Hammer and Hank, he did say that he was ready for this fight in December, and that he took the challenge that nobody else wanted to take. A lot of boxing articles had stated that they offered it to Ruslan Pavovnikov, Lucas Matisse, Victor Postal, and Hank said that he's stepping up to the plate. He got a family to feed, and he wants to dethrone Terence Crawford. And I mean, you're hearing what you're hearing what Hank Lundy is saying, man. I mean, he talked about the man's wife. He talked about the man's mother, and that's personal. You bringing family into it. And but Hank said that he dissed him on Twitter after a fight that he had, and that he's a piece of shit behind the scenes. That's what he says Terence Crawford really is. He's really a piece of shit. I'm not saying it, but he's saying he's really a piece of shit and he's gonna expose him.
Yeah, it sounds like he's trying to exploit something that's going on that he knows.
Yeah.
I mean, BT, you're right there in the action.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I was there. I spent roughly about 3 hours at Mendez Boxing Gym where the media workouts were taking place.
Wow. Wow.
And
What was going on?
what was going on? Basically, Hank Lundy came in. He came into the gym. He was very enthusiastic, very fired up. Just inspired about this fight. And he's in there. He's doing his pad work. He's doing his shadow boxing. And then you have Terence Crawford's family walk up in there, and his cousin, his mom, his wife, and they're very loud people. They're very rambunctious. They're a rambunctious group, and they made it known that, hey, they thought that Hank Lundy was a nobody. They said that he didn't belong in the ring with Terence Crawford, and that he is a non-factor in the sport of boxing. And they said it in pretty much those words.
Wow.
So they wrote him off just like a lot of the world is writing him off. Personally, unlike Rap, I do think this will be a very competitive fight, but I think I give the edge to Terence. But like I said, Hank Lundy's kind of won me over this week. In many ways, I found myself rooting for him because, I've always been able to identify the underdog. He's the underdog in this case. People are counting him out. They're writing him off. He's been screwed so many times in his career with, like you said, Don, Delorme, Herrera, and he's had a number of other close fights. So in a way, I'm rooting for Hank. I want him to go on there, and I want him to prove not just his Terrence's family wrong, not just the critics, but I want him to prove to himself that he has the heart to become a world champion. So, Hank Lundy, he's definitely made a fan of me this week, and hopefully we get a really competitive fight tomorrow.
Man, I mean, unless a fighter had insulted my family.
Yeah.
If he insults me, okay, I can take that, But I think it's low to insult somebody after a fight. If Hank said that Terence did that. I don't know who Terence Crawford is behind the scenes. I just know about the man that I see, and I hope we get to that in this video. But what I want to say is this. It's hard for me to talk about somebody's mother, talk about somebody's their wife, bring their family into it, unless they really did some dirty ass shit. You got to be just a dirty, grimy person like General Jerry.
Oh, Lord.
And, that's the only way I'll bring your family into it. If you're a dirty man like General Jerry that's gonna go to hell one day in his life because he's a scumbag, I'll bring your family into it. But if you're not like that, then I won't talk about your family. It's very difficult for me to talk about your family. It's like I would never get on here and talk about T Street's family.
I got you.
I'll never do anything like that.
So let me ask you guys a question. The shove that Terence Crawford gave to Lundy, was it today? It was today, right?
Yesterday.
Yeah, it was yesterday. Okay. Was that the most that they've had in exchanges in the past, or is this everyday issues for them?
I would say that publicly, that was probably like so far to this point, that was like the pinnacle as far as in their interactions. I know behind the scenes on social media because they've talked about it. They've had some words, but that face to face, yeah. And I was right there. I heard a lot of what was being said. Some people didn't catch everything that was said, but I pretty much heard everything that was said and why Terence pushed him. So, I do think Lundy's in his head. I think Lundy has gotten into Terence's head because Terence is acting really out of character. I feel like Terence has a lot of family from Omaha here, and he's acting a little more flamboyant than he usually is. He's usually just soft-spoken and he just goes about his business, but I've just noticed the difference about him this fight.
And you know what, man? See, I cover MMA, and I know we're talking about boxing, but I just want to compare and contrast here.
Right.
John Bones Jones was a guy that would talk, was soft-spoken, and was, trying to come off as somebody he wasn't, and they call him fake.
Yeah.
And the thing about that shove,
Yes.
Raphael,
Hmm.
was like he turned his head for a second and he laughed. It was like, if you're gonna do something to somebody and you sucker punch them, you're laughing like ha 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 boom. It was like ha ha, he pushed him. I would have respected him more if, and I'm not saying I don't respect Terence Crawford, but I would have respected him more if he looked him straight in the eye and pushed him off.
Yeah,
Laughing a little bit, and it blew my mind because when I'm talking about Terence Crawford, I'm thinking this is a, clean cut guy, and he's this nice guy, and then that opened the door. I'm starting to type his name in Google and seeing what I can find about him now. And now it's things like I was just talking to you, BT, about the shooting or whatever.
yeah, the dice game incident. Yeah,
I mean, you said he got shot in the head and he drove himself into the hospital, and then this he ain't street stuff coming from Hank Lundy, and now the streets is with Crawford. Is he involved in the streets?
yeah. I mean, I don't know, man. I just know that at the press conference yesterday, Lundy was right in his face, and he said, we can do it right here. I ain't afraid. And that's when Crawford.
Wow. Be honest with you, I don't think we've had a street type of fight like this in a while. Since like the Tyson days and stuff.
Yeah, it's been a while since we
You
had
know what I mean?
yeah, since we had two guys who don't like each other, who just don't care, who are from the streets, just going at it.
This is street certified.
Yes, sir.
This
Yeah.
is, I mean, people from, when I met Hank Lundy, I felt the street inside of him. It's the streets of Philadelphia. He walked right out of Marion Anderson gym with no security, with his bag, just walking down the street. This is serious. And what he's saying, for me, I know you're trying to get into somebody's head and everything, which I believe he did. I think he did exploit Crawford to some extent.
Yeah.
But I like I said once again, you really got a lot to live up to when you're talking like that, and you bring the family into it. Because if you get humiliated or you get embarrassed, people are gonna be like, "Oh, you said all this shit down. You're just a piece of shit," you know.
Yeah.
Because Terrence, even though he came out of character and he opened the door, but he can play victimized, especially after if he wins impressively, he can say, I'm a family man, he talk about my family, and then that make you feel compassion for him. Oh, I pushed him because he talk about my wife, he talk about my kids, talk about my mother. People hear you talk about somebody's mother and things like that, you got a real legitimate excuse for acting that way. I mean, it's hard for me to bring somebody's family into it.
That's tough. Yo, Don, let me ask you a question, because you were in the Lundy camp. You're obviously a native of Philadelphia. You've interviewed tons of Philadelphia fighters: Danny Garcia, Steve Cunningham. You recently just interviewed Larry Holmes. Let me ask you a question. If Hank Lundy is to win this world title against Terence Crawford, what would that do for the community of just Philadelphia and where he's from? I think it's North Philadelphia.
First of all, everybody's going to go down to his gym. People are going to be standing out there when he gets off the airplane. I wouldn't be down there. I even told my cameraman that I will be going straight down there. Because I'm pulling for him, I'm supporting him. Man, it would just be mind blowing, for him to do something. He would dethrone a two-weight world champion, a guy who's fighter of the year, legitimately.
Pound list.
Yeah, pound for pound list. I mean, because it's like I don't know who a bigger underdog than Hank Lundy going into this fight. I mean, you've talked to all pugilists of boxing, and who has said that he's gonna win? I mean, right now, BT, if you went online, the betting odds, and you put $5 down on Hank Lundy, you might come out with 500.
Yeah. So I mean, there's a lot going on. There's a lot at stake for Hank Lundy in this fight. I mean, just the
But
whole.
one thing I can tell you, because I had that sparring session up, if you want to check that out,
Mhm.
into the arena uncut.
Shout out,
Thank
subscribe.
you. I
Yes,
think
sir.
prepared for real. I don't think that like the Rocky movies. I
Mhm.
don't think Hank Lundy. I think he got Terrence on his wall. I think he got him everywhere. I don't think that. And, if I was him, I couldn't think of anything else but him, because to talk that much, to know what kind of odds you're against, you must be not 8 rounds, not 10 rounds, the whole 12. You better be prepared for this fight, because all it takes is one mistake.
Yeah, and we know Terence Crawford is the type of fighter that he'll go in there and he'll punish you. If he can, if you allow him to punish you, he will. And I think with this fight, all the animosity, the family exchanges, this is the kind of fight where we can see Terence, really try to put a hurting on Hank Lundy. So, Hank's gonna have his work cut out for him. I'm looking forward to this one a lot. What do you think, Raf? If Hank Lundy wins this, what do you think that does for him moving forward?
I think it changes the ball game for him. Uh, Definitely is gonna make an impression in the 140 division. Everyone's gonna be looking to fight him, talk to him, and he's gonna have to come up with a new game plan, because this is it right here. I mean, Don Juan's been talking about how he's focused on Terence Crawford. Like, this is it for him. He has to do this. This is like the World Series for him. This is like the Super Bowl, WrestleMania. This is everything.
The Stanley
So,
Cup National Championship.
yeah, this is all in one for him. He's just all in. So, it's definitely going to change the game for him, and it's also going to change his bank account.
Oh.
So, it's all about the money, and it's all about providing for your city, and trying to overcome all the adversity that he had before, because he's had some losses, but now he's gonna actually be able to conquer that 140 division, man. This is it right here. He's got to do it.
And at MSG, nonetheless, the mecca of boxing. So it's gonna be. I'm
This
I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it. I'm actually gonna be there tomorrow. So
You're going to be there. You're going to be right there in the electricity, and what I will tell you, BT, from what I'm seeing, um, I know he got into his head, but the thing about Crawford in this fight, which I believe you're going to see tomorrow night, is that he is going to be aggressive. He is going. There is not going to be this, this boxing thing. And yeah, he can box. I'm saying he can box, but I think his everything's going to be with aggression behind it. I don't think you're going to see him like, filling things out. He's going to really be throwing some. If it's not loading up all the way, it's going to be some shots in that first round where he's going to see if he can take him out in that first round. I believe that, because unfortunately Hank has been down in the first round in some fights, and if I was Terence Crawford, I want to see if you're going to hurt me, if you're going to drop me, or let's see if you can do it. That's how I would be. I would be like, if it's going to be hell to make it out of these first 3 rounds. So I'm going to really punish, come for to take you out after, that's the way I feel from Crawford. So I do believe Hank Lundy has that window of opportunity if he has something, a trick up his sleeve, because he is going to come for him.
Yeah, that's a dangerous thing for Crawford, because a very dangerous thing, because look, if he goes in there and he's winging shots, Hank's a crafty veteran. He's experienced, and Crawford could go on there and wing in shots, and he can get caught with some stuff, and that could change the whole complexion of the fight. I know.
I don't see I don't see like winging. I see more of a hard jab and
Yeah.
then now throwing a vicious combination like that. I mean, maybe you might be correct. I don't just see like winging it, like just.
Yeah.
I'm see like, Crawford craftiness is setting it up and then loading up. So maybe you could be correct. a risky hook or something where
Yeah.
Crawford could, Hank could throw a hook too and catch him. So I do see. I think you're right. He is going to take some risk.
Yeah, and if he takes those risks and, he's trying to make it a fight, he's gonna make sure that he sticks with his jab. We saw in it's a different division, but I'm saying the heavyweight division, we saw Anthony Joshua fight a guy in Dillian White that he was a heavy favorite against, and he didn't use his jab like the first 2 or 3 rounds. He was very stiff, didn't use his jab, wanted to come out and make it a fight, and Dillian White hit him with some stuff in the 3rd round, and he had him on the ropes. So, Terence has to be very, it's a different fight, different weight class, but he has to be very conscious of the same thing because it can happen to him as well.
Oh, do you think I do? I want to ask you that, BT, because you did bring up something very important that I didn't factor into this.
Okay.
About the weight. Crawford has just moved up to that weight, even though he's beaten some top people. But do you think that's something that Hank sees?
What, as far as
The
him
weight?
moving at 140?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Crawford, I think for this fight, he weighed in today at 139.2, and I talked to his strength and conditioning coach, and I know they spent a little extra time last night cutting a little bit of weight. So, that being said, there's a possibility that Crawford, while he is, obviously a great fighter, as far as the weight goes, it could be getting a little bit harder for him because he's, like 27? So when you get older, it's harder to make weight. Crawford already looks like he could be 147. He could fight at the welterweight division if he wanted to. So weight is a factor, and I think Hank definitely is confident that weight will play a factor in this fight.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's what it is. I'm looking forward to it, man. Raph, what do you think about as far as weight in this fight being a factor?
Have you guys ever seen the documentary that Terence Crawford had, the 2 days on HBO?
Yeah, I did see it. Yeah.
That was pretty impressive. Terence Crawford is really extreme when it comes to he's on point about his weight, and he knows what he's doing. And if you look at most of the top guys like Canelo, the guys that are always in the big fights, they know what they're doing when it comes to their weight. They don't have problems with that. But I don't know. Maybe he might want to switch it up in the future, but I don't think he's going to have a problem. When it comes to Lundy, I know he has to come in at the right weight because, man, this would be a huge failure if he didn't come in at the right weight,
Yeah, Lundy came in today I think it was around 138.7, something like that.
Yeah.
So he came in, he's on weight, and one of his people in his camp, they talked yesterday during the press conference, and they said that Hank is going to be stronger for this fight than he has in a lot of his other fights because his last few fights he's been taking on short notice, and he's been getting ready for this fight. He's had time to get ready for this fight since about like December, so he's had time to have a good camp, and we're gonna see if it really plays a huge role tomorrow, because I know that's a huge issue, because I know for a couple of his fights he only had like 4 or 5 week camps, and it's hard to really maximize your performance when you only have camp for those amount of weeks.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna have a problem. What do you think, Don? You think it's
about well, yeah, they weighed in already. I think they both on point. I think both of them on point. Hank Lundy, this is like he said his kids are gonna be there. This first time his kids and everything are gonna be there, and this is, this is a fight where, like you were saying, Raphael, is like, this is one of them things where they might not touch gloves, where you see some dirty stuff. I wouldn't be surprised. Low blows, headbutts, just I can see Lundy, possible head, Bernard Hopkins right to the headbutt. I see this, for actually, to be honest, Crawford might want to get this thing over with quickly, because you don't want to take no damage or anything like that, especially where Crawford might have a big guy. I believe Crawford has a big fight if he gets past Lundy. I think it's a situation where Bob Arum, this crook in the sport of boxing, And the reason why I said that is because I did a video where I was basically saying that I believe him and Pacquiao don't see eye to eye anymore. And I don't if Pacquiao beat Bradley, I think that since I'm convinced now, unless he knocked Bradley out, that Mayweather would be an option. It would have to be a devastating knockout in the first 5 rounds for Mayweather to even consider Pacquiao. But if not, even if Pacquiao beat Bradley, he would have Crawford lined up next, and say that why is he not taking this fight?
Yeah. Bob Arum, I talked to him yesterday, and he's like, I asked him about uh, Crawford fighting Postal, and before he really answered it, he was like, "Yeah, that's a good fight." I'm like, "I know it's a good fight." Now answer my question. He was like,
Yeah.
I asked him. I told him. I said, Bob, um, people out there don't want to see another fighter that's gonna go from weight class to weight class, picking up easy titles. So when are we gonna see Terence Crawford fight Victor Postal? And he said that's probably going to be his next opponent. And they're talking to the networks right now. So Terence Crawford has to get past Hank Lundy. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it, because that's a huge unification fight. I know a lot of people in boxing want to see that fight, and I want to see that fight. I'm sure Raph wants to see that fight. I'm sure everybody who really loves boxing wants to see that fight, because those are two of the best fighters in that division.
Yes. Very true.
I
I
don't,
agree.
I want to see it, but I don't think they're gonna make that fight. I don't see it. I really don't. Man, I think
Well,
I think he really wants Pacquiao to fight Crawford, and I
I
don't.
don't, I don't blame him. He needs that exposure, because
He
I mean,
was dissatisfied. He was very dissatisfied over that fight not being made. And if he can't get Pacquiao, he would definitely take Bradley. Bradley versus Crawford. But he wants Crawford to be number one, and I don't understand if he wants him to be number one, why they're not packaging him better.
yeah. I mean, he fought some solid opposition, but he hasn't really fought that one marquee fighter yet. Like, there's not that. Gamboa fight was good, but Gamboa is not like a big star like that, as far as crossover appeal. So yeah, he needs a Pacquiao fight for Terence Crawford to become the household name that he should become, based on his skills. He needs that fight. So hopefully, at some point, Bob Arum, Michael Kant, all those guys, top rank, they get it done.
do you guys think that the experts got together and crunched some numbers and thought that Bradley was the best thing for Pacquiao, or was it
Definitely.
something else going on?
Definitely. No, I think that's exactly what happened. Because look at it now, like, Crawford is not. He's a great fighter. Boxing fans love him, but hardcore boxing fans love him for the most part. But he's not gonna sell a ton of pay-per-views. People are gonna pay to see Pacquiao's last fight, but they're not gonna pay it for if it's Crawford. People know Bradley. People know that that's a kind of like a trilogy. So it does make a slightly more business sense. Even though people are saying they're not gonna buy it, they're gonna buy it come fight time. So it is what it is. I think a Pacquiao Crawford fight probably does somewhere around 300,000, 400,000 buys, if that.
Yeah. But
I,
that's a win. That's
I,
a win.
I have a
That's a
little bit different perception of that. I think that Bob Arum wanted
Hello?
Crawford. Can you hear me?
yeah.
I think he wanted Crawford more than Bradley because there's been a huge disappointment in boxing for the decision of Bradley. And I read this article, and I'll send you it, BT and Raph, where
Mhm.
this article just stood out to me, and that was the first time I actually said something bad about Bob Arum, because a lot of people say, well, you're a hypocrite. You contradicted yourself because you said that he wasn't a liar. At that time, I did believe he was a liar until I read this article, and I tried to add things up where Bob Arum's first choice was Crawford, and he did not want to pick Crawford, Pacquiao, because he felt like, you're trying to get me in a fight with this guy where you can build your top rank around him, and I'm gonna fight somebody where I know them better, and Bradley doesn't have any punching power, and I felt he beat him twice, and
Who's saying this? Pacquiao saying this?
that's what Pacquiao's saying behind the scenes. That's where the rift. That's where he feels been robbed. He's been robbed for. You heard what Mayweather said. He said Pacquiao didn't get all the money that he was supposed to get. Pacquiao's being robbed. I mean, he's robbed him blind. I mean, he's taking all his money, and he said I'll fight Bradley, and BT, I'm not disagreeing with you, but I think the numbers would be kind of around. We'll see how these numbers do. I think they would be probably around the same, but I think Crawford would have been more beneficial because if he beat Pacquiao, you're talking about a rematch or his next fight, he probably would get more numbers.
Yeah.
See, but there's a confusion because is this a going away party for Pacquiao? What is it? That's the problem. Like, we don't know what Pacquiao wants to do, and he's making it confusing too.
From what I researched, he said this is it.
I would see. Then I wouldn't have fought Bradley. If this is a going away party, I would have fought Crawford.
No, because he doesn't. He did not want. That's why I felt like he had the falling out with Aaron because he said this is my last fight and I'll fight Bradley, which that's not what Bob Aaron wanted.
Oh, okay.
He's saying this is my last fight. He still got fights left on the contract, and then Bradley. Come on, I mean your last fight against Bradley wouldn't it be against a guy like Crawford, right? I mean, but no, I mean because Pacquiao really wants Floyd Mayweather rematch, but I think we all know that
that's not happening.
Man, it is sad a little bit to me, but I can't.
They are both fishing for it though. Mayweather is fishing for it.
Yeah, that whole promotion, Mayweather Pacquiao, that was like a huge disgrace to boxing. I'm sorry, the way it was done to me was like
it was a circus. It was a circus.
Had it in freaking Vegas, no disrespect to Vegas, I need to live there, Raph, but had it in Vegas. They should have had it at a much bigger venue. Like that fight deserved, Rose Bowl, Cowboy Stadium, something big. They should have done it real big, and not just that. The fact that they which is insane to me, like charging fans for a weigh-in, like that should have been. I mean, I know charge them a little bit, but they charged them obscene amounts of money. Then they had tickets that weren't available to the general public. Only like people in the 1% could buy them. So it's like, I just felt like boxing, that whole promotion just left a black eye on boxing from a mainstream perspective. When I talk to people about boxing who don't watch boxing every week like we do, they say, well, that fight was boring. Mayweather just ran around the ring and hugged Pacquiao, and he didn't do anything. So I think boxing kind of missed out on a chance to reclaim some of what it's lost on the mainstream level because of just how bad that was promoted. And I think Heyman, Arum, everybody involved is to blame for that.
It's a weird business. I mean, how many fighters were on the undercard? This was like two fights.
We had Leo Santa Cruz versus that insurance worker.
Ooh. Lomachenko.
And Lomachenko versus some other guy.
That's it, right?
Undercard was terrible.
Yeah.
The whole card was terrible.
It was quiet. It was a quiet night until Pacquiao and Mayweather got in the ring.
To be honest, but the undercard for Berto and Mayweather was better than that whole card. That whole Pacquiao Mayweather card.
The undercard, right? Yeah.
For Berto Mayweather, it was Badu Jack, George Groves, and then you had what was the other one? There was another one. There was another fight too. I can't remember it right now, but it was pretty good. But they had it's ridiculous. I don't mean to get. I don't mean to. I'm trying to get back on track. As far as this fight goes, Raph, Hank Lundy versus Terence Crawford. Who you got winning this fight?
I mean, it's an easy pick. But at the same time, I don't want to take anything away from London because I'm like you right now. Lundy has been impressing me with the way he's handling himself. I actually follow him on Instagram. I think he's entertaining and he's very relatable.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think Terence Crawford's a slightly more elite than Lundy, but I give him a shot. I give him a true shot. So if I had to, put my money on one of the fighters, I would say Crawford. But I think it's going to be a good fight either way.
Don already said he's not going to make a prediction on this fight, so I won't even ask Don about that. But I'll say that as far as Lundy goes, I think Lundy versus Terence Crawford goes. I'm obviously favoring Crawford. I think he's the more talented fighter, like you said, Ralph. He's the more talented fighter. Um, he's got more of the, I guess you would say A-side advantages. If the fight does go to the cards and it's a close fight,
Yes.
there's no way
Yes.
Lundy's going to come to New York City on a top-ranked card. Terence Crawford's first fight in New York City, where they're trying to market him to like the biggest market or one of the biggest markets in the whole world, and he's gonna lose to Lundy on a decision. That's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
I'm picking Terence Crawford just based on that alone. Like that's enough for me to pick him. So
How deep do you think the fight will go? Do you go 6 rounds, 10 rounds, 12 rounds? How do you got it?
I got at least 8 rounds.
Tops. That's it.
I got Lundy giving Crawford some good rounds, but I think Crawford's gonna. If Crawford does what what he's gonna do, I think he'll dissect him later on and eventually get the stoppage. He should do that. That's what he's supposed to do. But like I said, this is boxing. That's why we watch the fights. That's why we're going to the fights. But like I said, I'm kind of rooting. I'm rooting for Lundy to kind of pull off the upset because I think it'd be a great story for boxing. You can make movies out of this. So.
Yeah. I mean, Don, you interviewed Lundy.
I interviewed Lundy. He was a great guy. Hopefully get to interview him again. If I go to Philly, which I do have plans on going to Philly one day.
You want cheesesteak?
Huh?
You want cheesesteak?
Oh yeah, I want to go to Pat's, Geno's, all that stuff.
You're just trying to make me hungry, man.
We're gonna have to take you to the real places, not these commercial places.
Yeah, those are the only places I hear about.
Iskerbibbles or gyms.
You gotta teach me your ways.
Yeah. You can get Neil a cheesesteak too.
Yeah. We'll shout out to Neil.
And I'm not saying that in a disrespectful way, but because they're gonna say, "Oh, I was disrespectful," but Hank Lundy, man, what did you? I want to ask you too. How did you feel about that shove?
First of all, when it happened, like I knew something was about to happen because, like, I heard everything they were saying, so I'm like, this ain't gonna end well. And you got Crawford's family yelling in the background, kind of egging him on to like kind of stick his chest out. So when I saw it, when it happened so fast. Like when Crawford shoved Lundy, it was like a loud thud. I'm like, wow. So Lundy's definitely in Crawford's head. He's got Crawford acting out of character. It's almost like Crawford was taken aback. He was taken back to when he was on the streets of Omaha, Nebraska, and he's really gonna treat this dude like it's a street fight. So we'll see what happens, man.
To me, that was like a judo type of.
In fact,
like.
Judo?
No, I'm just saying that was precise. It was more like a shove and a like a punch with his hand. Like he kind of like went to like hurt him,
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought you hurt him.
It was funny too because I was while that was going on, I was watching what like his corner and all of his like family was saying, like because they were all behind me or on the side of me. And like they were drawing back at Lundy's camp. They all wanted to go on stage and go beat up Lundy and like all the old guys in his camp. I'm like, man, because Crawford had
about that strength.
Yeah. Where he fought that strength though. That's the girl.
Let me tell you, I'm glad you said that, Rafael, because you know what? It did scare me. It reminded me of Apollo Creed versus Ivan Drago when Creed went to touch the gloves and it didn't move. He said, yeah, you're about to go to school. I'm about to take him to school. You will lose. And if that, I thought Lundy was like selling it like a basketball or WWE, but like you said, Rafael, it's just it scared me because I'm like, what if he punches him and he goes like through the ropes in Madison Square Garden, and I'm just gonna put my head down, I do have fear, I do have fear. I'm pulling for him and everything, but that push did. I mean, he's really in his. He said Hank Lundy took it well because he said that's what I want you to do. He said that's what I want, and Crawford walked off pissed, and then his own coach put his head. He did the like he jerked back like a telegraph punch. So I know he did it for the media. I know he wasn't trying to hit him before because you could see it coming a mile away.
Yeah.
Because he did the jerk back like a little kid. You know, if I'm gonna hit you. You know, it was, but I mean, ain't Lundy? He really. He took it like he wasn't mad, like I'm gonna get you. He's like, that's what I want you to do, and it make you like, God damn it, he got me.
Dang.
It do feel like he got him though, man. They said got him, got him. It looked like I don't know what team was saying that? BT, was it Crawford or was it Lundy team that said got him?
It was Lundy's team who was saying that.
Oh, got him, my God! You fell into my trap.
Yeah.
Wow.
And like you have Hank sitting there just clapping. He's like, yes, I got him. Yes, yes. So it's funny too because they didn't even have a face-off at the weigh-in today because of that.
Yeah, they couldn't even, you know, see my thing. If I'm the promoter, they're facing off. You know, I don't care if you got to put Bob Arum or somebody should have stepped in between. I mean, they're gonna face off. That's what everybody was looking for. That's what nobody really did. Was it kind of a disappointment?
Oh yeah. I mean, it was cool because you know. The best part about it was like the Philly fans and the Omaha fans kind of jawing back at each other, but I wanted to see the fighters go at it, you know. So that was very disappointing. So I'm just hoping fight night we get the same intensity. That's really what I want to see. So
I think regardless of how long it lasts, it's gonna be intense.
Yeah, I definitely think it's gonna be worth it. You know.
Yeah. So we have on the undercard we have a very talented fighter, Felix Verdejo. He's fighting a guy named William Silva.
Puerto Rico.
Yes, Puerto Rico in the building. First of all, Top Rank's fast tracking the hell out of this kid. He has this fight scheduled tomorrow, and then he's got another one scheduled in April. So they're moving him fast. You know, they want to make him a star now.
Golovkin. Yeah.
So, first of all, Raph, I wanted your opinion on Verdejo. What's your overall take on him, and what do you think he's going to do tomorrow?
I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I don't know that much about him. I know I did watch his last fight. I mean, a fight or two. No, it was I think it was on a PBC card. Or no, my bad.
The guy who was a hairdresser.
A hairdresser. Oh my gosh. Getting in the ring. Jesus. No, but this guy, he can fight, man, and he's in good shape. I actually believe that if he really wanted to, he could fight Crawford now.
Oh, you know I mean, that's a fight.
I'm sorry, I have to say it. This guy is in shape.
I said that's a fight I want to see one day. I want to see because Verdejo's gonna move up. I watched them stand next to each other side by side. You know, Verdejo is not that much smaller than Crawford. He's young. He's a lot younger than Crawford. He's about like 5 years younger than Crawford. So he's gonna grow more, and you know, eventually it'll even out size-wise. But I mean, that'd be a mega fight. Hopefully, when Crawford is more of a household name, when he's more of a household name, Verdejo, you know, the Puerto Rican fan base for Puerto Rican boxing fans always support their fighters. I know this because my family's Puerto Rican. Yeah. Always when we were growing up, Trinidad, Cotto, you know, they'd always root for him. Even like there were times where I wouldn't even root for Cotto. I was always a Pacquiao guy, so Cotto fought Pacquiao. I rooted for Pacquiao, and I got a ton of crap for it. But always, he's gonna have a lot of support, and if that fight is made, it'll be a mega fight in boxing. So I'm looking forward to seeing him fight tomorrow.
I agree.
We have other things going on in boxing too. We have we talked briefly about it. Shawn Porter, Keith Thurman postponing their fight. We'll start with Don. What do you think about Shawn Porter and Keith Thurman and that fight not happening? Because I know a lot of us were excited about that.
First and foremost, for Keith Thurman, like we had talked offline, is looked at now as a diva and a bitch.
Yes.
Like you said, he didn't. I'm not calling him that.
That's right.
And that's how he is perceived right now. You said, BT, that he didn't even promote the fight.
Yeah, I mean, he was supposed to meet Porter. I think it was the fight week for Danny Garcia. I'm not sure that's the fight, so anybody who watches can correct me if I'm wrong. But there was a particular fight that happened, and he was supposed to meet up with Shawn Porter to announce the fight, and he decided not to do that. He decided that he'd rather go to a car show, drive a new car that he has purchased, and stay in Florida rather than the world thing. So it is what it is. Keith Thurman, he's lost a lot of respect from me. I rated him very highly. I don't as much as I used to. I don't rate him as highly as I used to. I know that's the same is the case for other guys in the YTV, such as Thunderdome, who was a huge Keith Thurman supporter. So he has a long way to go to regain back some of the stock that he once had with me and a lot of other people in the boxing world.
According to reports, it was a non-serious injury from a car accident in the ring. The punching bag, the airbag deployed into his face, and when he sparred on that Saturday, he said he locked up.
Yeah, his muscles locked up.
And they had then he said he spoke to a doctor and said the people said it's best to postpone, but according to official reports, non-serious injury, and with question marks already surrounding Keith Thurman. Although I was going with Keith Thurman to win the fight, and I'm skeptical now of who I'm going to go with, but it really makes him look bad. It makes him look bad because we were wondering, well, is his chin going to hold up? Because Jose Soto Carras, Chavez, is he going to be able to take the body shots? Luis Collazo.
Yeah.
Collazo.
Yeah, on a bicycle. That boy was circling around the ring.
Yeah.
Oh, he ran like he robbed a bank.
Yeah, and he's an older fighter, so imagine,
Imagine his knees buckle against Shawn Porter. You ain't gonna get away.
That guy's.
Because I was saying, is this elusiveness like Floyd Mayweather, or is this running? That was running. He ran.
No, it was. It was.
He ran quick.
Mm-hmm.
And the urgency that you saw in his face when he went back to the corner was like, he got hard, but you ain't gonna run like that against Shawn Porter. And then what about when he dropped Guerrero?
Mm-hmm.
Guerrero pushes him against the ropes, and he looked like he was fighting for dear life.
Yeah. Remember that around 9th or 10th round, you got Guerrero in there fighting his heart out, and he just lying there on the ropes taking punishment.
And now his undefeated record is gone because he lost to a damn airbag.
Yeah, it knocked him out.
It knocked him out. He said he never felt a punch like that.
One time. Knocked him out one time.
One time. 26-1 now.
I'm not even
Yes,
gonna.
right.
I agree with you guys, but have you guys ever been hit by an airbag?
No, I haven't, so I'm not gonna talk.
I've heard some horror stories, man.
I heard it is the truth. That's why I'm joking around and everything like that, but he has. I'm gonna leave it up to y'all to I think he has the right to pull out if he postpones, if he doesn't feel like he's up to it.
Yeah.
I'm skeptical of him because he's with Al Heyman. I'm sorry if I'm putting Al Heyman, on the chopping block, but I probably wouldn't be the first person that puts him on the chopping block. But it's just the truth. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. He got Keith Thurman looking crazy right now, in my opinion. I think Keith is elite, but he still hasn't proved he has to beat someone like Shawn Porter, because Shawn Porter is used to fighting bigger guys than him. He always fights the guys that are taller than him. They say that they're better than him and all this stuff. A lot of people put Adrien Broner to beat Porter too. So I don't know. It could be. I find it like it's possible that Keith Thurman could be lying, but he has the right, to back out. So I don't know. I'm still kind of like weary about it because all the reports of Keith like hiding from Porter, I found that weird. I found that very weird, and I didn't like it.
Hmm.
So I don't know. I'm weighing it out. I'm just weighing it out, and my original prediction was if Porter could get past the sixth round with Keith, then I think he's gonna win a unanimous decision, like a UD. He's gonna decision him.
Yeah, you do that, boy. Yeah, that's a 50-50 fight. I mean, honestly, I had because based on some things I've heard in the boxing world and just Thurman's performance, I should go with Porter for that one. That would have been, I think Porter would have got the job done. But I just want the fight to happen at this point. I'm just sick of the divas, especially in the lower weight classes. These guys aren't fighting each other. I want to see some damn fights at 147 already. So hopefully we get, and the thing was too, the winner of this fight, it was rumored, I read multiple reports, the winner of this Porter-Thurman fight was supposed to fight your boy Don, Danny Garcia. And that would have been a good matchup.
I feel that they would have probably held out on that for a while. I mean, give them tomato cans and try to build it up for a year or so. Because
Probably.
But I think that this is a very intriguing fight that's postponed and will still take place. And I'm still going with Thurman. I don't want to change my pick like that, but I think that the odds are more in Shawn Porter's favor than they was before. Because
Yeah.
Porter was already in shape, and he has a pre-camp and he has a post-camp.
Never been hit by an airbag.
Never been hit by an airbag, and
Only lost to Kell Brook, not an airbag.
I think that he's gonna, I think that they're gonna implement more head movement and side-to-side angles, and I think Keith Thurman would really have to throw something. Porter would have to. No, Keith. Sorry, Keith Thurman would have to keep
Porter.
on Porter at bay.
Yeah. I mean,
This definitely disrupts Keith Thurman's camp though, and now everyone's blaming him. Because think about it, everybody was looking forward to the fight. They're at a degree where it's like they were all waiting. We don't care. We just want to see the fight. So
yeah. I mean, honestly, I think I've pretty much fulfilled my quota and my limit for Keith Thurman and Shawn Porter boxing voice and fight hype interviews. I've seen enough. Okay, I don't want to see any more fight hype and the boxing voice interviews from either one of those guys. I just want to see the damn fight at this point. Okay, to me, they built it up enough. Hopefully sometime this summer we get to see that fight. I want to see it at some point. So that's what it is.
What do you? I'm just throwing out there. Do you think it can make pay-per-view?
No, definitely not. Because neither one of these guys is a star on that level yet. I mean, we look at a guy like Gennady Golovkin who already has fan bases here in New York City, in California. He sold out multiple places, and he couldn't even do. He couldn't even do what, like 200,000. He struggled to do 200,000 buys on one of the most affordable pay-per-views you will ever see in your life. It was like $50, $60 for Roman Gonzalez, Golovkin, and he struggled to do that. So if he's struggling to do that, there's no way that Keith Thurman and Shawn Porter, as good as a fight as that is, and as much as I like those two guys as fighters, there's no way that they're going to be able to.
That's an excellent point. Because you got Golovkin, he's on LA Times.
Apple
TMZ. He's everywhere, and he can't even do that.
Yes. I mean,
it's a shame. It's boxing, man. It's a sport too. That should be a pay-per-view fight, Don. I think
it should. It should, but like I said, I think, especially in America today, like boxing has lost a lot of luster from the mainstream standpoint, and I think that's why I'm so mad about Mayweather Pacquiao and the way that was done, because it let the black eye on boxing.
It did.
And, these guys should know them. Back in the I wasn't around, but I know by watching YouTube clips and talking to older boxing fans. I know that
YouTube history.
Yeah, I know that in the 1980s or like back in like way before I was born, people knew who Sugar Ray Leonard and Roberto Duran. They had
Yeah.
commercials. They're being promoted. They were on talk shows. Arsenio Hall, used to bring on fighters all the time to his talk shows. He had guys like Michael Nunn and all kinds of big time fighters, that deserve that kind of shine. We don't get that in America today. Like there's no reason that people shouldn't know who Terence Crawford or Roman Gonzalez or Danny Garcia or Amir Khan or any of these big name fighters. They should all know these guys, but they don't because I don't think they're being properly promoted by whoever they're with, and it's because of all the agendas, all the different
Yeah.
agendas these promoters are just feeding in boxing, whether it's they want more money or whatever the case may be. It's not being done properly.
I feel Heyman still needs Floyd Mayweather, and I feel Mayweather is not done with the spotlight. I mean, I think that's the one thing, because of the age of social media. I did watch Blood Boxing do a video one time, and he was talking about Roy Jones Jr. If Roy Jones Jr. in his prime was out when social media,
Oh,
oh my God. I mean, he would have been so made more money than he made, and he's already rich still. Floyd Mayweather can make one small comment and it's everywhere, and he sees it and he can't keep his mouth shut.
he loves it.
And that's the problem. When you keep talking and you keep talking and talking and talking, before you know it, you done said, I'm coming out of retirement. You're like, oh man, I didn't even mean to say this yet. And once you start saying it, then it's a done deal, because then people are like, oh, he's back. He's back. You can't start backtracking, talking about, oh, I didn't say it and all that kind of stuff. That's why they keep saying he's playing, he's flirting. You're playing with fire. No, he should leave it the way it is. But we all know he's going for that 50th fight, and he's trying to get the biggest payday he can possible. And I see, believe it or not, I do see Danny Garcia as a top choice.
Why? Why him?
It's a winnable fight for him.
Yeah, I can think of a couple reasons why that would be a fight for him. Number one, like Don just said, it's a winnable fight. Number two, if you look at Danny Garcia's TV ratings that he does on PBC, Danny Garcia does good ratings. I think a couple of his fights he did over 2 million views, so he's bringing in good numbers. That makes sense for Floyd. Uh, he's got the Puerto Rican thing they can kind of work off of.
He's got the belt.
Got the belt as well.
That's the belt.
The belt as well. So
That's his belt too. So
yeah.
he's kind of tied to it in a sense, and maybe you guys are right, because I kind of go about it neutral sometimes, and maybe he's just using Golovkin and Pacquiao just to hype people up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he won't fight Golovkin because of the
No
way
way.
they already said that. And for Pacquiao, we all know what's behind that. I mean, Pacquiao, he needs a knockout against Bradley, and that still might not, because it was so much done in that first fight and what led to it. You cannot, and then it's the lawsuit. Al Heyman is not ready to work with him ever again. I don't see it.
Let me ask you guys a double question here. What do you think about Mayweather trying to work with Eddie Hearn? And what do you think about Top Rank trying to link up with Showtime now?
Wow.
I'll let Don go first.
That's been in the reports. Top Rank is seriously considering Showtime.
I don't know. I don't know about it happening, especially with Steven Espinosa, loyalty to Heyman and PBC and all that kind of stuff. I mean, anything's possible when you talk about money, but I don't know about that. I don't know about it, but
I agree.
What was the other? What was the other question you were saying? He froze.
Raf, yo, what was the other question? He said Showtime and Top Rank, and then he said,
oh, he's back.
Right.
My bad. I don't know why I got cut out. But Floyd Mayweather is about to work with Eddie Hearn, like promotion-wise.
Floyd's always expanding his capabilities, and he is one of the most powerful men in boxing. Floyd can do whatever he wants in boxing, and I see it happening. More power to him.
If he's working with Eddie Hearn now, he should get a contract written up so he can go fight Kell Brook.
Oh my gosh! How could you mess that
Save
up?
Kell Brook for Khan.
Yeah, that'd be a good. That's the fight I really want to see too. But did you guys see the Mayweather interview where he was talking about what he was talking about Kell Brook and he was calling him Kell Brook?
Called Kell Brook.
Yeah, like he's in London and Johnny Nelson from Sky Sports is asking him questions, and Mayweather they ask him about Amir Khan and Mayweather's like, I think Amir Khan should have fought Kell Brook, and then he looks like Kell Brook and he's like, Kell Brook, you're a tremendous fighter and I love what you do for boxing.
Unbelievable.
You know what? That is what makes me laugh about Mayweather a lot, because he does a lot of interviews, and Mayweather just lives this, luxurious lifestyle where he really is ignorant to a lot of things. He really don't know a lot of fighters. He don't know about the UFC and all that. He really don't know. When he was talking about Conor McGregor, he really don't know Conor McGregor like that. I mean, he really do ask people, well, who name is this and who is this guy? He really doesn't know a lot of people like that, as they think he knows him, unless he just purposely says their name wrong. But I think
he purposely says their names wrong. I
think he purposely says that. I
don't think he knows. I think sometimes he just doesn't know.
Boxing, I think, like when it comes to certain boxers, I know that there's certain boxers he knows. Like he acts like he don't know him. Like when he was talking about, because he's a boxing promoter. How can he not know certain fighters? Like
he don't be knowing them. He don't, because I saw other interviews where he says, we got this guy right here, and he said, well, what's that guy's name again? And he's like, yeah, and so we got this guy here, and we got that guy, and so they're a hell of a fighter, and he don't fucking know these people.
He also said, I remember when they asked him about Andre Ward, and they were like, yeah, I think Andre Ward should fight the other light heavyweight. I don't know his name. I think his name is Kovalov.
Oh, God.
He really don't. He just.
I don't think he knows. I agree with Don. I don't think he knows. You gotta understand, 50% of his checks have gone to him because he talks a lot. So he's just out there, bro. Like he's a millionaire and he's living his life. He's naive to some of these things.
Raph, you're in Vegas. You gotta get to the gym, and you gotta work your way to talk to Floyd. We need to figure out if he really doesn't know.
That would be a great question to ask him, though.
Do you really not know who Sergey Kovalev is, or Kell Brook, or Brock, or however you want to say his name?
Yeah, because he's probably not one of those. Like, all right, like Keith Thurman, he could talk boxing. There's a lot of guys that could talk boxing and they know their names, but I don't think Floyd ever had to.
Well, you know what? I watched part of that telecast. I think it was 2 weeks ago on Tuesday when I was talking to you, Raph. It was when Cael Bellos was fighting on Fox FS1.
Oh yeah.
And they had Floyd on for a little bit, and he was like announcing, and he was there with Shawn Porter, and it was almost like listening to a Fight Hype interview just during the fight. He was like, these two random guys are fighting a war, and he's like, I don't like fights like this because boxing is wear and tear on the body, and it's not good to take punishment. You live and you learn. I fought the way I fought, but everybody's entitled to their own opinion. I'm like, damn, Floyd, this sounds like a Fight Hype interview.
And Brendan got the impressions down packed, doesn't he? Yeah. This is crazy.
Oh my God! I had a remarkable career in the sport of boxing.
I can't take nothing away from him.
I can't take anything away from him.
Recycle lines and.
Andre Berto, this is
when he starts rambling, because it's just I don't even know what he's talking about. It's like I don't even make videos on him anymore. Because it just get repetitive.
It does.
But I do like his big like your Golovkin video. Because I was going to do that one. That was big.
Yeah.
Just.
How many world champions I beat?
That's what he said?
No, that's what he always says. Like, how many world champions I beat? I did the highest gate, highest connect percentage,
It just gotta be fun to be him, you know.
easy work.
Oh my gosh.
He can't come back. I mean, he can. Floyd would be 80 years old, still running his mouth, and people making articles about him and everything like that. You know.
Muhammad Ali lost to Leon Spinks, and Leon Spinks only has 7 fights. That's my favorite one.
Yeah.
He said he better than Muhammad Ali, but never even done anything that it accomplished.
And he picks and chooses who he says that to. He said that to Stephen A. Smith. He knows Stephen A. Smith is not going to be able to.
Smith. He punked him. They made Stephen A. Smith his bitch.
Well, because Stephen A. Smith doesn't
Exactly.
know boxing.
He don't know. He don't know anything. You can't tell that to somebody that knows.
Yeah.
You can't tell that to Harold Letterman.
Oh no, you can't. By the way, shout out to Harold Letterman. I sat right next to him today during the weigh-in.
Oh, that's great.
He's a great guy. Love that guy. But yeah, you talk about two guys that don't know a damn thing about boxing. You know, watch First Take and watch them talk about boxing. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Man, there's a lot of things going on in boxing, man. You also have who else? What haven't we talked about yet? We had Carl Frampton, Scott Quigg. I know, you know, Raph, you told me earlier you don't really know too much about those guys, but you guys want to give me your thoughts on that fight?
Oh, well, Frampton.
Raph?
You know.
Oh, well, I'm going with the favorite.
Going with Frampton? Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. Like Frampton has a lot more amateur experience, and you know, he's the more talented of the two. But I do know that does have a tendency to get hit sometimes. Quigg is a big puncher. So he's got a puncher's chance. I know it's a big fight over there in the UK. But to be perfectly honest, I mean, I kind of just look at that fight as the two guys who, you know, ducked Rigondeaux, who don't want to fight Rigondeaux. So it's a big fight over there, but to me, it's not the biggest matchup out there. You know, I want to see Frampton fight, you know, other guys besides Scott Quigg. That's just my personal opinion, though.
Wait, so Frampton in his last fight, he got knocked down like once or twice, right? And then he came back.
I forgot the name of the guy he fought, but I remember watching that fight. He lost.
Yeah.
He lost the first round because he got knocked down, and then from there on, he shut that dude out. Like it's like he made an adjustment right then and there, and just the rest of the fight was a shutout.
Yeah, he's pretty sharp. I remember watching him. There was several fights going on that day, but he's a really good guy. I think. Well, I don't want to say too much because I don't know much about Frampton, but he looks like he's the real deal. Only thing is, you know, if he's not winning the fight Rigondeaux, then I don't know. I'll probably watch it, but I don't. I'm not interested if he's not gonna fight Rigondeaux, you know.
Yeah, and he's from he's from the same area I believe as your boy General Jerry Don. He's from Belfast.
Oh yeah, well I love people from Ireland, just don't love him.
Damn.
We welcome all walks here.
Yes. What do you think about that fight, Don?
I think Frampton wins. You know, I really don't know what else to say. They make sure that they set up the right opponents for him.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fight that kind of launches him into superstardom as long as he goes, or it's not super, but stardom as long as he goes out there and does what he's supposed to do. I think he's just a better fighter compared to Quigg.
I do got a question for you, BT. In this PBC post-Mayweather era, who is the fighter that's going to be a pay-per-view draw?
In the what? In the post-Mayweather era?
In the post-Mayweather PBC, Al Heyman, what fighter does he have that's going to be a big pay-per-view draw?
And you're talking only straight Al Heyman stable, right? PBC fighters?
Yeah. Who's his top fighter that can bring in a lot of money?
That's tough. If I was a betting man, top fighter that would bring in a lot of money, if he moves him correctly, would probably be, I would say Deontay Wilder. I think Deontay Wilder is his best bet. He's a heavyweight.
Who's the next one he's going to have on pay-per-view?
The next fighter?
Yeah. Is it Deontay Wilder?
Yeah, that'd be the best bet of the young crop, the new guys. Yeah, because he's a heavyweight. You know, they had that little argument between him and Tyson Fury in the ring. I know that did like a lot of it circulated a lot around the internet. You know, there's people that I know personally that don't even watch boxing that were asking me about that. Did you see those two guys? You know, they really didn't know too much about Fury or Wilder, but they saw it. So, you know, those guys being heavyweights, those guys both being undefeated in their primes. If that fight is to happen, that's from the Heyman stable. That's who will be
The
definitely in.
guy.
Yeah, the guy as far as pay-per-view goes.
You know
What
what? That's a very right now choice, and I agree with it. I was thinking more of a, like, I don't know, like Errol Spence, but the thing
okay.
is, the 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 thing is, we're talking about right now. You can't talk
Yeah.
about later because if we're also talking about how Mayweather could come back,
Hmm.
then you know you got to pick a right now type of guy. So Deontay Wilder is definitely number one and two choice.
Yeah. I mean, hmm. If I had to pick a guy as far as like long term, I'm looking at them like and we're talking like years and years
Yeah,
down. I'm thinking, and to be honest, this is kind of a really out there choice, but I just look at this fighting style. I look at how they're moving them, how they're talking about them. And it might be very surprising, but I would say in the future, a guy like maybe like a Gervonta Davis with his fighting style
Hmm.
could be a guy who makes pay-per-view. I don't know if you guys have been familiar with him, but he's a TMT fighter. He's undefeated. He's got blazing fast hand. He's a TV friendly fighter, and as long as they move him correctly, they obviously keep that build him up,
yeah.
get that name up. That, that's a guy I could see way down the road though. I'm talking like 4 or 5 years on the road.
Who do you
Well, you
got,
need
That's a guy I look
John?
somebody
at.
like he needs somebody that's going to be outspoken, that's going to be brash, that's going to be,
Wilder.
Wilder.
Yeah, Wilder's a
Wilder. You got to get
great
Wilder out
choice.
there more. I mean, Earl Spence is a great. I like how you pick Earl Spence, but he's kind of quiet and everything now. And I don't know
Hmm.
what's going to make him come out of his shell, but
I mean, if
Yeah.
if Thurman can win the Porter fight and they can keep moving him along, Thurman's another guy. He's very marketable.
Well, Earl Spence is you could say that he's loud in the ring, when it comes to his action, the way he hits people,
Mhm.
but
He's
you still got to cover for the marketing sense because boxing is still, on the slope. So we
yeah,
need the mouthpiece. Sorry.
Adrien Broner. That's the guy right there, Adrien Broner.
Broner.
Oh, the future of boxing.
Yeah,
The future,
Broner.
the heir apparent to Floyd Mayweather's throne.
Oh my gosh.
Apparently not.
Not even a promotion from Floyd helped him. Crazy.
Broner, if Broner beat Porter, he probably could have made pay-per-view again, but
He knocked him down in the 11th round.
Yeah, I give him credit for
Yeah,
that. Oh,
when he finally put two punches together, like what, 12 rounds, 12 rounds throw a combination.
Yeah, he had no chance. Porter's a beast, man. He's a beast. And
Porter went down and beat him at a catchweight too. Ridiculous catchweight.
Porter's a beast.
I love Porter. That's one of my favorites out there. He wants to fight all the best fighters. Yo, Don. Okay, now I really wanted to ask you about this because I know you're gonna have a lot to say about this one.
Mhm.
Canelo Khan.
Fuck American. Okay, fuck the Khan army. 99.9% chance that Khan is going to be stopped in this fight. I'm not giving Canelo any credit for it, but I respect any man that puts on the gloves, and I respect the fact that they're fighting each other. But the fact of the matter is, this was a voluntary defense for the WBC middleweight title, 155-pound catchweight. All right,
Canelo.
no rehire.
I'm saying it's a Canelo weight.
Catchweight,
Mhm.
middleweight. Amir Khan. Uh, I thought I read some articles where one article said that Kell Brook would was a more harder fight for Khan, and I feel Canelo is a harder fight for Khan, and I think that business wise, if Khan loses to Canelo, you can always make a bunch of excuses. You know, But if he loses to Kell Brook, he could never get a Canelo fight. So you have him take Canelo, that's a big fight. Then he still has Kell Brook out there, other fights for him to take. He could lose to Canelo, he could fight some quality fights for the next 2 years and try to get another big fight with Kell Brook. And it seems like he's going to be a guy that he'll be around just for really big fights here and there. He'll beat quality people, put two together, put three together, then go for another big fight. But he's never going to be a elite fighter. He's going to be a big name and possible okay draw, but he's not going to be taken seriously and like that. I think he kind of messed that up already. That's kind of been messed up.
If you wanted to give it percentage, how would you give it for American?
That 1%, like 99.9% Canelo, and that one little, I don't even think that's 1%. Whatever, one.
Oh, that one.
Yeah, that dot one.
Damn.
That's the chances of him winning the fight. Everyone knows it. It's not even. Unless Canelo, is just he must just gained too much weight and got very like just. I just don't even see that. I mean, it really just I just don't see it. His chin is just. Wait, let me cut that.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird pick. I agree with Don. I give Amir Khan a 35% chance. I know that's a little close, but they're the same exact height. We have never seen the stronger version of Amir Khan.
Mm-hmm.
And if he mixes it in with his speed, we could see a longer fight. I don't think it's gonna turn out where he gets knocked out in the 5th or 4th round, or even 6th. I think it's gonna go to 10 or 12. But I still got Canelo winning just off of just sheer confidence and strength. Like, this guy is just a different animal compared to Amir Khan. When was the last time you saw Amir Khan? What's that?
I was gonna say, do you think that himself to get down to 140? Don't you think that might have played a role in why his chin was so bad? Because a lot of people, I've been thinking about the last few days.
Amir Khan?
Yeah, Amir Khan, his chin.
Well,
did I cut out?
No, I was just trying to understand your question a little, but I don't know. I think it comes down to pressure. You're fighting certain fighters that can beat you, but you're not trying to figure out exactly how you can beat them. So I feel like when he lost to Danny Garcia, he showed that he could still keep going, but he had no answer. And then now he's a different fighter now. He moves around more now, but he just doesn't have that punching power. You feel me? So
yeah.
He's not elite anymore. That's how I see Amir Khan. He's not elite. He's just a glorified fighter. That, you know what I mean? Amir Khan is dope. He can fight, but he's not elite anymore, man. He's not like
a glorified whore.
You see that's if you want to put it like that, I understand.
He can now you know what? I respect him a lot. He did beat, good fighters. I mean, he beat Chris Algieri, Devin Alexander,
Maidana.
Well, that was a long time ago. But
hey, I think he beat Zab Judah, no? Didn't he beat Zab Judah?
Zab Judah had no confidence. Paulie Malignaggi beat Zab Judah.
A lot of people beat Zab Judah. Balder beat Zab Judah. Danny Garcia beat Zab Judah. Floyd beat Zab Judah.
Okay, my bad.
Yeah.
So Chris Algieri, Devin Alexander, good, but Khan to talk as much as he talks and acts like he's on the elite.
Mm.
We just want to see the Kell Broker, and if he and I'm not, I don't hate American or hate the Khan fan. In fact, I actually BT was around when we did a lot of positive things for American and had a lot of support from the fans. And I believe that he could win those fights. If I thought he could win against Canelo, I would have said. But I didn't like the choice. I thought, I thought he wanted Garcia. I thought.
Oh,
I mean, we got to give some respect to Amir Khan. He got this fight off of Twitter. He got this simply off of Twitter.
Wow.
You got to give him some respect. He's getting paid millions of dollars just because he has a Twitter
he's
account.
on pay-per-view.
Yeah.
So
Las
even
Vegas.
even if he gets knocked out, he can use that as leverage whenever he goes and negotiates a big fight. He said, "Hey, I was on pay-per-view, and he's gonna do solid numbers against Canelo. I don't think he'll like hit a million or anything like that, but he'll do solid numbers." And
If he could finish the fight on his feet, that's a victory in itself. Even if he lost, that's a victory in itself. And it's crazy as boxing is, man. I'm not saying fixed or anything, but it could be a possibility where he could finish the fight where Canelo is just not really going after it. But I don't think I really don't believe that because with De La Hoya investing everything into the cash cow of boxing and the number one star that basically is keeping his promotional company alive after just a complete devastating loss of so many people. I would believe that De La Hoya would advise Canelo to finish him off brutally, and if they could get another voluntary defense or whatever before this Golovkin fight, because I got to be careful with the Golovkin one. The only thing that kind of concerns me about that one is just the weight. How Golovkin is a natural middleweight, but I think Canelo is supposed to be, his weight be up there, but it just seems like Canelo does better against a little bit at junior middleweight where he can come in as a bigger guy. I thought that when he went against Cotto, if he had got a knockout against Cotto, then I felt that would I would believe that he could beat Golovkin. I just think the power of Golovkin is just so much, to deal with.
Well, it's not so much the power. Yes, I think the power is a pretty big deal for anybody. But it's not just that. He has the power, and then he has the boxing skills. We're talking about a guy who was not just a good amateur, not just a solid amateur, but an elite amateur. And when you factor that in with the devastating punching power, the killer instinct, the boxing brain, I just think Golovkin is too much for Canelo. I do. I really feel that way. I want to see the fight. That's the kind of fight that would elevate boxing in the mainstream. Because that's a fight a lot of people want to see. But I'm hoping that fight gets made. I want to see Golovkin get that opponent that a lot of us fans want to see him against, and I want to see Canelo in there against a guy who is the truth of middleweight, the best middleweight in the world as far as I see it.
What about if Canelo beat Golovkin?
If Canelo goes in there and beats Golovkin, legitimately, of course, I'm gonna give him nothing but credit. I'll give him nothing but credit. If he goes in there and beats a guy like Golovkin, a guy that is knocking out everybody. He's knocked out his last 21 opponents. Has beaten currently 3 of the top 10 guys in Ring Magazine. So as far as his middleweight division. So if Canelo goes in there and pulls that off, that's one of the biggest. To me, that's one of the biggest upsets because I just don't see outside of him being able to potentially hurt Golovkin. Even if he does hit Golovkin flush, Golovkin's got a great chin. I just don't see how he's going to beat him. But if he does that, that has to be, to me, in the running for upset of the year. I just think Golovkin's that much better than Canelo. Personal opinion.
I think his style is a nightmare for Canelo. I don't think it's. I agree with Brendan, and I don't know. If you were Oscar De La Hoya, would you want to put him in there right now?
Definitely not. I'm gonna marinate,
Golovkin?
boy.
You, I mean, it's over. I mean that Golovkin's been trying to get this match for forever, and the thing that I don't like is that Canelo is 5'9", right? Golovkin's 5'10". Is there a huge difference here? Like really, like Canelo comes in way over 160 after he weighs in at 155 in Canelo weight.
Same.
I mean, come on, man. It just doesn't make sense, and it's time for boxing to switch it up, and that's the thing. I don't think the powers that be want that fight to happen, because a lot will transpire if Golovkin beat Canelo. A lot.
Oh man. I just want to see. The thing with boxing right now is just like in a lot of different weight classes. I think a lot of the fans just want a lot of clarity. You know, at 147, there ain't a lot of clarity right now. You know, we have all these guys who are talking about fighting each other, but they ain't really fighting each other. Same thing, you know, with this non-middleweight situation. We want to see Golovkin versus Canelo because that's a big major fight, and they're stalling it. Oscar De La Hoya, out of his own mouth, says, you know, Bob Arum taught me to marinate fights, and that's what I'm gonna do with Golovkin Canelo. So I don't know, man.
I mean, I agree with both of you, man. I would do everything in my power to make that fight not happen. You know, it would take years. You know, I'm really waiting for Golovkin to get old because he is an older fighter, and so
Yeah.
I'm waiting for him to take a loss. I'm waiting for him to take some damage. Now, the only thing I'm concerned about is the WBC title because what about Canelo had to give up that title? I mean, that would just be crazy, man.
Yeah. I don't think that'll happen though because De La Hoya and the WBC, which by the way is a Mexican-ran organization, they're like this with each other, you know.
So were they going to keep giving them voluntary defenses?
I mean, I could see them doing that. I mean,
Wow.
the WBC is not one of the sanctioning bodies that you would say is like one of the best sanctioning bodies. They do a lot of crazy stuff, a lot of shady stuff. You know, for example, like when Floyd was holding two world titles in two separate weight classes at the same time, which is like illegal. You know, they didn't do anything about it. They took him forever for them to strip him of his 154-pound title, which he didn't even win at 154 pounds. He wanted a catch weight at 152. So I could see them doing some real shady stuff because when you hold, it's one thing to hold the WBC title, but when you're a Mexican fighter who holds that title, I think there's a little bit more that comes with it because you know the sanctioning body is a Mexican organization. Everybody knows that Suleiman and De La Hoya are like this, so you know, that's just how I see it.
I just feel like there would be a huge. It would change the game. That's what I think. If Golovkin beat Canelo in September, let's say if it was in September, it would change the game. It would just everybody would have to respect Golovkin now. And this is including Bob Arum, Floyd Mayweather, all the powers that be. They will have to look at it like, okay, this is who we have to deal with now. You think they want to do that when they've been doing it the way they want to all this time?
Nah.
WBC included?
Definitely not. Like they don't, like you said, Raph, they don't want to give Golovkin his respect. It's kind of like, and I hate to sound like HBO Max Kellerman, but it's kind of like when Marvin Hagler was coming up, not the exact same way, but it has some parallels to Marvin Hagler. Marvin Hagler was, you know, the #1 contender for a lot of belts for years, and
Same weight class,
same weight
160.
class. And he had to fight some straight killers to get the big fights that he wanted. He had to fight some killers. He had to fight, you know, the John Mugabes of the world. He fought William Monroe's I think it was dad or uncle, who was a real top flight middleweight who's from Philadelphia. You know, to get to where he wanted to be. So I see the same thing with Golovkin. Golovkin's not fighting, you know, I wouldn't say he's fighting like the same type of killers Hagler was fighting, but he's still fighting, you know, good, solid opponents. Martin Murray at that point in his career, when Golovkin fought him, Martin Murray lost a very close fight to Sergio Martinez, and you know, he also fought David Lemieux, who, stylistically speaking, was an advantage for Golovkin, but still a champion, a good top 5 fighter in his division. You know, Willie Monroe Jr. People can say what they want to say. Willie Monroe Jr. Still, people say Golovkin only does well against guys who are stationary targets. But if you've seen Willie Monroe Jr. fight, he ain't no stationary target. He can't be a stationary target. He has no punching power. So Golovkin, to me, is like Marvin Hagler in a lot of ways. And I hope he gets his shot like Marvin Hagler eventually did.
I gotta ask a real important question. This is real crazy. Do you think us being people of color supporting Gennady Golovkin is a backstab to our race because what Mayweather said about the racism and everything and Triple G being white and that kind of stuff?
Definitely not. I don't see that at all. To me, race. Race doesn't matter when it comes to fighters. It's just about can they fight and do they want to fight the best and do they want to prove themselves to be what they say they are. That's all I really care about. Race doesn't play any role to me. I just want to see a fighter who can fight and fight well. But so no, I don't see it as backstabbing. I see a statement like that as pure ignorance from one of the most ignorant minds to ever grace the sport of boxing, in Floyd Mayweather. And I hope one day that Floyd can get a little bit more educated and stop playing the race card all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what it is.
I mean, you couldn't have said it better. I don't think it's a backstab. There's a lot of Latino champions, black champions from different countries and stuff. I understand where Floyd's coming from, because what he's trying to do is make people feel guilty. I think, is my opinion. And the thing is that if Golovkin was to win that title, it would change the game because he's all the way in Europe. He's over there. So he's going to make people go over there like Povetkin's doing to Wilder right now.
Oh, yeah. Oh, we got to talk about that.
Now we're all taking flights over there now.
The Kazakhstan.
Yeah, and we're dealing with that government now. We're changing the game. So I don't feel guilty for rooting for Golovkin, but the thing is, these guys go through hellacious amounts of fights in their amateur fights and stuff like that. You gotta respect it. You have to respect it. So I don't know. They have to figure it out. Because there's gonna be more European fighters doing the same thing. There's gonna be more guys like Golovkin, more guys like Kovalev. We just have to start to. What's that?
I was saying I agree with you.
Yeah, we have to start meeting them. If they're competitive, we have to start getting there too, because maybe it's us that's behind. Maybe the American fighters are behind.
Because I like Triple G, but some people were saying I sold out again and I'm a coon and everything.
Nah. You just like you like good fighters who want to challenge themselves to be all-time greats.
Let's be honest. I don't know if you guys agree, but a lot of colored and other countries have started playing different sports, and that's it. They don't box anymore as much. So like guys like Terence Crawford, that's a great example of an American boxer. You know what I'm saying? Earl Spence Jr., all those guys, Shawn Porter. Exactly. But if we had to double the amount of those guys, then we can match with guys like Golovkin and things like that. But when the game changes and they're gonna take the most important title in the whole boxing, you can't. What are you gonna do? You can't literally give them the title, because that's what's gonna happen. Golovkin will beat Canelo, bro. I'm telling you.
We'll mark that boy. No question. No question.
There's no question. Yeah, it's almost. Yeah, it's.
To be honest, when it comes to like these Eastern European fighters coming over, I'll be honest, and I've said this in a lot of heated boxing debates and conversations I've had with people, not on YouTube, but this is my regular life. I honestly like these Eastern European fighters a lot more than the American fighters right now, just because they're fighters. A lot of the American fighters, even some of my favorites, are very diva-ish, and there comes a certain point where I don't want to hear about your little excuses and just hike up your skirt and fight. You either want the fight or you don't want the fight. If it's on the table, make it happen. If you're that confident in your skills, make it happen. Beat who you need to beat, and get to where you need to get to. And I just don't think I don't think there's enough fighters in America right now at this current moment at the top level who just have that dog in them, that unwavering belief that I'm gonna beat.
Yes.
That they won't be beat. They feel like they can't be beat.
You think Golovkin or Kovalev give a damn about who you're putting in front of them? Hell no.
They never have.
Yeah, those guys. You have this guy also in the light heavyweight division. And you guys will know about him if you don't know about him already. Arthur Beterbiev, who's a beast.
Yeah,
you know, guy's a monster. I think he beat Kovalev once or twice in the amateurs. So he's coming up. He's going to be a problem.
He did, and they were going to fight.
Yeah, they were going to fight. So.
And I don't want to take away from any American fighters, that we cover and we talk to on a daily basis. I don't want to take anything away from them because I would never say that they don't have enough heart to get in there. It's the people up top that's controlling everything that want to keep things how it is. Because back in the day, we had Roy Jones Jr. We had guys that would destroy European fighters, bro.
Hopkins.
We would make them look crazy. Like, you seen Tyson fight a bunch of European fighters. He'd make them look crazy. He would make them look crazy. Seriously. They were not supposed to be in the league of fighting guys like that, like James Toney. We've seen it before. But now it's a different time, and people are a little bit more paranoid. They're trying to keep that money in their pocket. Because, man, I'll tell you, someone come through like Golovkin, he's going to come through like a tornado, man. He'll eat through all the whole roster, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I'm telling you.
Yeah, so I mean, I would say like the pressure is on like a lot of these American middleweights. I'll say one name in particular, and he's right here in Brooklyn somewhere probably. But Danny Jacobs, man, you want to prove that you're the best.
Oh wow.
You want to prove that you're the best middleweight in the world. Start pricing yourself out. Make a reasonable offer that Golovkin's team and K2 and Al Heyman could pay out to you and make the fight happen, and then go in there like you did with Quillen, albeit a lesser, not as good as Golovkin, but still a solid opponent who had never been beaten. Go in there and you beat him like you beat Peter Quillen, So I mean, I just want to see these American fighters kind of step it up. Same goes for like, even a guy like I would say, like Terence Crawford, man. I love Terence Crawford, but I would love to see him, be more vocal. Say, hey, I want whoever. Just give me, Postal. Give me these guys. Give me this guy. Give me Amiri Mom. Give me whoever. Broner. I don't feel like we get that enough. Golovkin's out there calling out dudes, and he's saying, look, it don't matter. You put him in front of me, I'm gonna beat him. I'm the best fighter in the world.
Yeah, and there probably is an answer for Golovkin here in America. We just won't know because, like I said, the promotion is just filtering people. Just straight up filtering the media and filtering everything.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really too excited.
I'm
not really excited about it.
Me neither.
Dominic Wade gonna get murked, especially talking trash. Golovkin's fighting a guy in Dominic Wade that when I look at him, I know he's a boxer. I respect. Like I said, I respect every fighter. But when I look at Dominic Wade, if I didn't know anything about boxing, if I look at him and guess what Dominic Wade was, I wouldn't say he's a boxer. He looks like a guy that when I go to T-Mobile to pay a phone bill, he's problem. In this T-Mobile.
Steve Harvey, man, wow. Drop calls.
Man, let me see if that's on his Wikipedia. It might be true.
You never know these days,
Yeah.
We've seen,
like you said, we got lawyers, taxi cabs, cab drivers,
Walmart door greeters,
Foot Locker,
Subway sandwich makers,
homeless men, bartenders.
Got everything, man. We got
waiters,
hotel concierges,
janitors,
comedians.
What do you say?
Comedians like Adrien Broner.
Oh, Adrien.
I respect Adrien Broner's past. Like, he could fight, but that man, he should have been a comedian.
No, yeah. What you think about his fight with our boy Ashley Treasure, Theo Fane?
I don't know. I don't know about Theo Fane.
A Broner that has not went to training camp will lose this fight. And I saw Broner at PBC and I'm not bragging. I'm just saying that I had the privilege of going to PBC. Uh, it was a good opportunity, but the only reason why I brought it up was because I saw Broner there, and I wish I got a picture with him. I had an opportunity to get a picture, but he wasn't VT Raphael. He was not open to interviews. But I wish I got.
Oh, okay.
I wish I
That's
got
one guy.
a picture, man.
That's one guy that if I ever get a chance to talk to, that's one guy. That's like one of my top 5 most interviewed guys in
He in
boxing.
Washington right now.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he in
So
Washington. You know, I'm gonna see if I can, you know,
you
yeah.
gotta tell our boy. You gotta tell our boy and shout out to him. Tell our boy DC Mike to hook you up. I know we talked to him a few times.
Oh yeah, DCMikeTV.com. I respect him a lot. He's a great guy. He's helped me out a lot, and you know, it's just
Shout
a
out.
great. I know how BT is, you know, doing the interviews and stuff like that, and it's good because I saw your channel and the views are going up, the subscribers are going up, and because you're getting a lot of quality interviews, and I think that separates you know, yourself from other people when you're starting to put interviews up there and stuff like that. So, but I saw the reason why I brought it up was because they say he was at the Sands Hotel for a while and he was partying and yeah, he was just at Bellator 149 and
Wow.
Recently,
on promotion. And you know, the thing is starting to worry me is that I am starting to get a little worried. Like I remember when me and BT talked a long time ago about I think it was Emmanuel Teller at that time, or it was John Molina. Yeah, we were talking about John Molina.
God.
And the only problem I have is I think he could be falling into the Theophane. I think with John Molina, he lost the way, he got himself where he needed to be and everything. But with this Theophane thing, it seemed to me like he really is distracted again. Like to me, I don't know what's going on. You know, I hope he's with Barry Hunter. You know, because he really keeps some focus and stuff. And DC, I'm hearing he's training, so. That's good because those guys at DC keep him real focused. So I hope he does his promotion and not drinking and stuff and get right back into the camp and everything because that'll be a complete that right there is, you know, I hate to hear Floyd, you know, say some of the things. I know they had a falling out and I don't think Broner was right neither by what he said, but Broner shouldn't be losing to this guy, you know.
Oh no, definitely not.
what do you guys
I mean-
think if Broner would have accepted that deal with Rock Nation?
I thought he should have done it. To be honest with you, they gave him more than a fair offer, and you know, I'm not sure because Rock Nation only have like 2 fighters. They have Ward and Cotto.
Cotto. They got Cotto. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, Cotto. Oh, and Rigondeaux. They got Rigondeaux as well.
That's right.
So, I think, you know, it would have been interesting to see how they would have moved him because unlike guys like, you know, Cotto's on the older side, Ward is beginning to get up there in age, and Ward's kind of like he's really hard to make a fight with. He's very diva-like. And then you have Rigondeaux, who's not very, you know, he's a very great boxer, but as far as like marketing him to the casual fan, he's hard to market. So I think Broner would have given Rock Nation easily its most marketable, you know, name on the roster, and he would have got paid.
How he got out of the Heyman contract? Because I heard you don't get out of Heyman contract.
Yeah, you can't get out of Heyman. You can't. Well, yeah.
They're gonna buy him.
Get out of Heyman.
Yeah, that's what I think
I don't
they're
know.
trying to do.
Yeah. I mean, I wish
It was
we
a
had one of
public-
them on here.
I don't think they could have got him out.
It was a public,
Yeah.
like a public deal he tried to make with him, and Broner was like, "No, I'm not doing that." You know.
His life
Shove it up your ass.
danger
Yeah.
too. I mean, at that time, I don't really think I would wanted him to do it, but I think just a lot of strings that's attached and stuff would have probably messed him up. You know, maybe the places he could go to, he probably would just been blackballed. I'd rather not see that happen to him. So I thought he made the best decision right there and showed his loyalty, but I thought he was disrespectful, though. He could have did it in a better way.
Yep.
Yeah.
Telling
For
Jay-Z some crazy stuff.
Yeah. But for Broner though, like I hope he just like as far as this fight goes with Theophane, you know, I just hope because with him it's a cycle, you know. He lost to Maidana, then when he lost to Maidana, he comes back and he's like, AB, I'm never gonna lose again. This new AB, I'm never taking a loss again. I'm working harder. And then he wins a couple fights and then he loses to what's his name? Is it Shawn Porter?
Mm-hmm.
Shawn Porter. He beats Molina, then he loses Shawn Porter, and now he's back on the same tip again. Oh, I'm never gonna lose again. AB, So
he took he was taking pictures with Maidana. He was dancing with him, and it was a party. Like, this is my best friend.
That's my best friend in boxing.
Yeah, I mean, it's just right now it's just him being in that division, and that's basically fucking it. I don't really see anything in terms of going back to welterweight because his power doesn't carry over there, and that's basically it. I mean, until he could get a good fight at that weight, other than that, really don't see much else from Broner.
Some people think that he should go away from the shoulder roll. I agree. He's a little. You know what I'm saying? Because he's bigger than Shawn Porter. Like, the way that he lost to Shawn Porter was embarrassing. And like I said, I don't like to talk bad about boxers and stuff like that. I give all respect. What's that?
Look, the whole night, the way he was fighting, his game plan, his execution, he looked like a D-level fighter. He's in there jabbing. He's not like Floyd. Floyd's shoulder roll is very tight. It's very hard unless you're a crafty fighter like, let's say, a Pacquiao. Pacquiao was able to find some holes in Floyd's shoulder roll in that fight, in spots. So unless you're a crafty fighter who's an elite fighter who can see certain things, you're not gonna really do too much with Floyd's shoulder roll. Now, if you're a guy like Broner where the shoulder roll is so tight, then it's gonna be pretty easy to hit you if you're a good fighter.
And the referees are not on your side.
And the referees aren't on your side like Floyd is, so you clinch, although it did take a while for him to lose a point. Adrien Broner was clinching. He did eventually lose a point. It took about 10 rounds too long, but he did lose a point. So he's got to go away from that. I think for him, if I were Adrien Broner, and this is kind of like, for me, I kind of say the same thing. Me and you were talking about this a little bit, Raph. I was saying the same thing for my good friend, the guy I go talk to a lot, in the Amir Imam. I love him. I love the Imam camp. I love all the people there. But personally, for his career, kind of like for Broner's career, I think Broner needs a change in trainer. Mike Stafford has been his guy since he was a kid, and I think he should go away from Mike Stafford and go hire a new voice. He needs a new voice, a guy who's going to discipline him and really bring out the best in Adrien Broner. So if it's a guy like, I don't know, let's say if it's I don't want to say Freddie Roach because everybody goes to Freddie Roach, and I mean I don't see that working out for him because Freddie Roach has such a big stable of fighters. I would say a guy like, and I say this for every fighter because this guy is probably, in my opinion, the best trainer in boxing, and that's John David Jackson. You see fighters go to John David Jackson, they make leaps and bounds. We saw what happened in the Algieri Khan fight, how well Algieri fought despite losing. We've seen Kovalev get leaps and bounds better as a pure boxer, and that's taken him to new heights. So I would look to go that route if I were a guy like Broner, and especially if I'm my boy Imam. I think you should consider that too, but it is what it is.
What do you think, Don? How you feel about changing trainers for Adrien Broner? The problem.
Barry Hunter is good.
Huh? Barry Hunter would be a good one too. Yeah,
he just gotta stay around. That's why being in DC, and if he gonna listen to Hunter, he gonna win. I think he would have beat Porter if he was focused with Hunter. It was just like you said, BT. You was calling it before it even happened that he was just gonna lose that fight.
He doesn't listen to his corner though. Like when the fight is going, when it's happening, you can see like they're static there and they don't click. That's not good. You You know, you get all the way to that point, you made all your money, you already worked out and told people to not call him because he's working out and he's doing his thing to stay focused. I mean, come on, man. You're gonna get all the way there and then not listen to your trainer? Like, that's, I don't know. It's not good. And then whoever's advising him, they should be looking to do something else because maybe Broner can't be controlled. You know what I mean? Maybe it's just that.
I heard from Max Kellerman that because when I saw him at the PBC, I mean, he's just the center of attention, and not in a bad way, actually. You know, when he was there, you know, everybody was running up to him, and everybody's looking at him, he dancing, and it's just like a party when you see Broner, and it's just like, you know, it seemed like he gets so caught up into it, and I heard that he really like a kind of guy that want his whole team to have fun, want everybody to have fun. And it seemed like he get so caught up into it that he start forgetting and doing a lot of like off-task things. And that's the problem with Adrien, that Broner really does have talent enough to definitely he could have possibly pulled off a victory against Shawn Porter. I
always say, look at that knockdown he had on Porter on the 11th round, because I saw it coming.
I think it was 12.
Yeah, he's naturally bigger than Shawn Porter. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and he had Porter drained too. He had all the advantages in his side.
He had all the. It was an uneven playing field. It wasn't an even playing field.
Mm-hmm.
And he was supposed to win that. Mayweather came out to support him. Even gave him inside information, and he humiliated Mayweather. Mayweather take that very, very serious. You know.
And from what I understand, that was Shawn Porter's first PBC fight.
Mm-hmm.
So how's he supposed to trust the you know what's going on and how they setting up the fight? He's like, nah, I'm gonna go do what I gotta do. But still, Broner don't think like that. He should, bro.
Yeah, he should. I kind of want to switch gears a little bit again because you mentioned Don, you mentioned Washington D.C. with Broner training there and whatnot. There's actually a fight taking place in Washington D.C. I think it's next week actually. It's going to be Tony Thompson versus Luis Ortiz. What do you think about that fight?
Oh my god! I was really Is that me? That happened.
Huh?
Luis Ortiz.
Yeah, Luis Ortiz. Oh my god, hold on. I'm on Ring Magazine, these ads keep popping up. But Luis Ortiz is going to I think Luis Ortiz is going to win that fight pretty easily. Tony Thompson's pretty old. Tony Thompson just got outboxed by Malik Scott, actually. I remember watching that fight.
Yeah, one of the viewers just commented, told me there is no race in greatness. Just from what we said when we were talking about earlier. So shout out to Ivan.
Yeah.
Shout out to him. Yeah, I agree with him. You know, it's really just about can you fight or can you not. Like, it is what it is, man. So, but yeah, you know, we've had a lot of great fighters come from everywhere. Philly, Vegas, South Florida, all the places in this, all the places represented in this.
Arturo Gotti in New Jersey.
Arturo Gotti in New Jersey. We had Oscar De La Hoya from California. We had Pernell Whitaker from Virginia.
Oh wow, yeah.
Shout out! I got a chance to interview a couple months ago. Shout out to boy Calvin Brock from Charlotte, North Carolina, boxing banker. We had Klitschko from the Ukraine. We had just a lot. Evander Holyfield from Georgia. Just a lot of great fighters. So yeah, Ivan is right. You know, there's no race in greatness, or greatness is greatness, and that's it.
That's any sport too. Let's not just
not just boxing. But yeah, man, we got some good fights coming up. We got Andre Ward, Sullivan Barrera. That should be interesting. We'll have who else we got? I can't even remember all the fights right now. Algieri Spence. That's going to be a good one.
Yeah.
Now I got a question about that. Chris Algieri kind of a little bit of disappoint me with that fight. I thought he could have, fought some more fights like Khan and get some more wins under his belt instead of taking this fight right here. I don't know why he believes he can pull this one off.
Well, he did have a recent fight with gatekeeper Adrien Broner. I know he won that fight, so he did get a win under. I mean, he does have. This will be his. I think for this fight, this will be his third. I think this will be his third camp with John David Jackson. So he's got more time in with John David Jackson. So that would be why I think he's confident. He's got more time with John David Jackson.
This is a
found himself a little bit more. Jackson. I don't think. For Spence, like when he fights Algieri, we all know Algieri doesn't have that much pop.
Oh,
but when you look at the opponents that Spence has fought, I mean, he hasn't really fought anybody that's you could even say is like a B-level opponent. Not nobody. Like the last two fights he fought, what? Alejandro Barrera, who's like a C, borderline D level fighter, and he was able to counter him a couple of times with some uppercuts and a straight right. Then you had what was the other guy? Van Heerden, who he just straight pieced up, destroyed him. Then you had before that you had what's his name? Villa Greco, who took the fight on short notice, so destroyed Villa Greco. So I think this is actually good for Spence. We're gonna learn a lot about Spence. And Algieri, he's gonna come to win. He's gonna come to win. We know that. We know that under John David Jackson, he's gonna come very prepared. So this is not the kind of fight that Errol Spence can take lightly. I know Algieri doesn't have the best power in the world, but Algieri is a professional with lots of experience with top guys, and Errol Spence has not fought anybody like that. So for Errol, we're going to find out a lot about him, and I'm looking forward to that fight. I do obviously favor him because I've said it a million times in my Errol Spence videos, and I'll continue saying it. He is the best body puncher at 147, hands down. And I think that'll be the difference when Algieri and him do fight.
Can Algieri pull off the victory here? I'm not saying 99.9 for this one. I just feel Algieri. I just feel like I thought he could put together some more wins and maybe go for a bigger fight. I mean, maybe he see that he could with Amir Khan. I mean, he did. I thought that he lost that fight, but I did admire his grit, and I always admire that. But I just don't see him beating Errol Spence. I mean, he don't have the pop. I feel Spencer's stronger and faster, and I don't know why. I just didn't understand it. I didn't know if he was trying to get in the limelight again or another loss. That's the end for Chris Algieri.
Yeah. Well, when I look at this fight, I see it. This is how I kind of see it. The fight to me has a lot of the same similarities to the Adrien Granados versus Amir Imam fight. Before Adrien Granados fought Amir Imam, he was a guy that nobody viewed having a chance to win against Amir Imam. Amir Imam was knocking everybody out. He fought slightly stiffer competition than Errol Spence, but Amir Imam was blue chip prospect in boxing. Granados had a couple of losses, and when he fought, Amir Imam is very green, just like Errol Spence is coming into this fight, very fresh, hasn't really had that experience on that top level, and it does make a difference. So I think his best chance is going to be to test Errol's endurance. Is Errol really as well conditioned as he says he is? Because Errol's fights have all ended pretty fast. He's knocking out these dudes left and right. So
that's true.
I think Chris Algieri has a better chance than people think. I'm not picking him to win, but I am believing in him. Have been putting up a very good performance. When they do fight, it'll be here in New York, in Brooklyn, in his hometown. So he's going to feed off of that energy over there. That stuff does help a fighter. So I could definitely see him giving Earl some real quality rounds. And if Earl does not come prepared, just like my boy Amir Imam lost against Granados, thinks it's boxing. That guy does have great experience against top flight competition. He fought really well against Imam. He can lose. So Yes, it's very possible. It's a lot more likely happening than Khan Canelo. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Algieri, he's gonna give him that work. I see Algieri like a New York version of Robert Guerrero. He just hasn't had the title. So
Yeah.
I kind of agree with what Don Juan was saying that he should have gotten some more better fights for him to make him look good. But you know, this is what he picked. So I don't
I didn't
know.
understand that. I really it
Yeah.
blew my mind because I thought Chris Algieri would, fight lower fights and for a year or so, maybe get around 3 or 4 or 5 victories underneath his belt, feel real confident, and then meet up with somebody. Maybe meet up with Earl Spence. Then it could have been a real big fight. But I feel like maybe he feels that he sees a young fighter that he can exploit some flaws in there. But then once again, I look at the Khan fight and he didn't show me enough in that fight. I mean, even though some people were like, "Oh, it was a close fight," and everything, I didn't think it was necessarily a close fight. I just felt like he tried to come forward and more, but it was just a little bit too late, and I wasn't really. I just I thought Khan was gonna win, and I thought Khan possibly could have stopped him, but I'm saying before the fight, not in the fight. In the fight, I didn't feel like Khan didn't have him in any situation to stop him. But with this Earl Spence, this one is kind of like this young kid might just blast Chris Algieri. He might be the one that stops Chris Algieri, and then it's going to be humiliation. And that, basically he should just hang it up. If he gets stopped, that's really the end for Chris. That's 3 losses. He's not going to really get any more big fights.
The
Yeah.
I would say, like, as far as big fights, the one matchup I know I wanted to see for a while. Mentioned it a while back, but I actually wanted to see because I think Chris could win this fight, and I think Chris Adrien versus a guy like Adrien Broner would actually be a good fight. I think Chris could beat him because Adrien Broner struggles with guys who can box. Chris Algieri doesn't have
Lanky.
he's
He's
lanky, got
he's
range.
lanky. Yeah.
Under JDD or JDJ, I should say, JDJ, he performed. He's getting better with his range control, and that's big for guys like him who don't have the best pop in the world. He has shown that he does have solid power to the body, not devastating power, but solid power to the body. That's why you see him investing a little bit more when he fights under John David Jackson. So that fight, with Broner's inactivity, Algieri's range control and his length, I think he could have beat Broner if that fight would ever get made. As far as this fight goes, I think 3 things play a role in why he picked Spence. Number one, his Earl Spence's last fight against Alejandro Barrera, he got countered like 3 or 4 times with the same combination, and he didn't really move his head that much. And I saw it. Anybody who watched it saw it. I know Thunderdome, when I saw his video about it, went berserk about it because he's like, how are you a top guy? And you have this guy who was a C-level fighter or a fringe D-level fighter. He's landing flush counters, not once, but 3, 4 times. So there's that. Then you have the fact that Earl Spence is still green and he hasn't had that top level experience with guys like Chris Algieri. And then you look at the fact that Algieri has more time in with John David Jackson. He's gotten better. He did fight. He did have a good fight against Khan. He buckled his knees in the first round. So those 3 factors to me are what played a role in him picking a guy like Spence. And had it been Spence, I'd say 3 or more fights down the road, then I would say this is a terrible fight. Don't pick Spence. But because Spence is where he is at right now in the stage of his career, I think it's a good fight.
If Algieri beats Spence, how do you see his career going from there on?
Oh my God! I mean,
No
Chris
matter,
Algieri
it doesn't matter how he beats him. He just beats him somehow.
Okay.
That's it. Well, then if it was close, maybe a rematch with Spence. But if I was him, and even if a close fight, I would move forward, because then he would just have that on his record. He's
Yeah.
the Great White Hope, So basically, a win like that I mean, you
It
know,
puts him back, like in the playing field.
you damn right it does.
Oh my God.
I mean, he could get a big, huge. They probably would match him against Danny Garcia. You know,
Oh wow,
because
that's a good fight.
you know, he'll have a working relationship with Heyman. Heyman would want to get that back, and you know, depending on that fight is taking place in April,
Mm.
so it looks like Garcia is going to be resting for a while, or he's going to have a easy fight, and that, or you know, I'm just threw Garcia out there, but this Chris Algieri be back. I mean, but that'd be just devastating for Earl Spence. I mean,
Oh, then if he loses, he's the next American hype job. That's how he's going to be viewed until he can avenge that loss or beat somebody else that's a big name.
I
Yeah.
mean, in the Al Heyman world, you know, that O means life.
Oh
But I
my
could
God.
also see it's a robbery too.
Yeah.
I could see Chris Algieri getting robbed.
I can see it too. I can see him getting robbed. I could also see him getting a decision too though, because he'll be fighting in his hometown. We have seen it before. But
That's it. You know, y'all made me get into it more. I don't think Earl will blast through him, but it's gonna be a good fight. I can't wait to see it. I'm not gonna make an official prediction now, but
me neither. But I'm pretty sure that I'm gonna be back in New York for that one too. So
oh man, I would love to if I could get to that. You know, I might ask, you know, Mike if that's possible. He might be going to it, but
yeah, you should come out here.
I could get that cause you know I drove there before for just not even had no pass, so I would love to, you know, go to that, you know.
Yeah, do it, bro. I love it. I mean, I know I
Or
talked.
I might just go to a open media workout.
That's fine too. But I mean, I know. I was talking to Thunderdome about it, and he's gonna try to be here for that one too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. I just checked Ring TV. Errol Spence is number 9 in the welterweight
Yeah, so he's
division.
a top fighter. They got him, and I think they had that below him is that one random Russian dude who fought. I forgot what card it was, but he fought on Dmitry Molenenko, or however the name is. They got him.
21, 9 KOs.
And I forgot. I forgot with Chris Algieri where I give him a lot of respect was that Ruslan Provodnikov fight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's where he got his title. That was his biggest highlight.
Yeah, I mean, that was.
If he could survive Ruslan and Pacquiao, I mean, from what you're telling me, BT, I got to watch this last fight, Spence's last fight, a little bit more. I just saw the highlights. It looked like he has a big chance of surviving this. I mean, I'm not meaning surviving, not being stopped or anything. So it could be a very, very close fight, or he might just win.
Yeah.
So you don't believe Earl Spence is as good as they say he is?
I mean, I think he's good. I don't think he's being moved properly by Heyman. I mean, this fight is good now, and I did ask for this fight for a while, so I'm glad it finally got made. But he's been fighting nothing but just like C and D level guys, like for the longest time.
And then there against, well, he's a level fighter.
No, they're putting him in there with a decent fighter. I mean, it is a very winnable fight for him, but it's still a risk. So, I mean, it is what it is. If he gets past this fight, huh?
You think he will drop Algieri?
Who? Spence?
Mm-hmm.
I think he might have to.
He's gonna have to. Like, he's gonna have to do what he's done. You know, every fight he's been out there. Just keep going to that body, hacking away at the body. That's what I think he's best at is just body punching. I think he's the best at when he's in the ring. To me, he's the best body puncher at 147. That's why I think he can go far in boxing. And I'm glad that we're getting this fight now because we get to learn more about him. Because
I think it also has to do with style because Algieri's gonna keep coming. He's gonna just keep going at you like he did Amir Khan. 12 rounds. He's just
stand there and go. And I like that with Algieri too.
Yeah, he's not afraid. He's got a real fighter's heart. And we saw, like I said, it's Jordan. If you get a chance to go watch it on your downtime, go watch his Earl Spence's last fight against Alejandro Barrera. I think that was his name.
I saw it. I was in the gym and I saw it, and then I watched the highlights, and so I didn't get to clearly see the counter. So I gotta watch that.
There were a couple of them. If you get a chance to talk to Thunderdome about it, ask him about it. He'll tell you about it. But yeah, I mean, he's Errol Spence, as good as he is at punching, he's not too defensively sound of a fighter. I mean, you can't hit Errol Spence, and Algieri's got a good jab. Like I said,
he's tough.
Going to the body a lot more. He's got a granite chin. He can take a lot of punishment if he has to, and that's why I think it'd be a great fight. So I'm looking forward to hopefully being here again in the great city of New York for that fight at the Barclays Center.
Some pizza.
Yes, eating more pizza. Shout out to New York City on 30th Street.
Mm-hmm.
Love that place.
Life. What hotel you at?
I'm at the Riff, Chelsea.
Okay.
That's nice. It's nice. So, yeah, I mean, pizza here is great. I'm sorry, I'm thinking about pizza. I'm trying to get some
pizza crazy right now.
I love pizza, man. Pizza's like,
oh my god.
Yeah, but yeah, man. I mean, it's getting pretty late. It's like 12:37.
Trying to move up the lightweight.
Well, me?
Yeah.
I'm trying to become the first 10-time world, the 10-time champion in 10 different weight classes. My plan is to do it. I want to move down to strawweight, right? Get a title there.
Oh man, because you fight at 125, right?
Like 125, 126. So I want to move to strawweight at like 10, whatever it is, 106 or whatever. I'm gonna cut it 106 with a title there. Then I'm gonna, bantamweight, flyweight, Romo Gonzalez. You watch how featherweight, junior featherweight, all that stuff. Heavyweight, I'm coming for Luis Ortiz, all those guys. Deontay Wilder for
cruiserweight.
Deontay Wilder for blocking me on Instagram. You gotta get it.
No, he blocked you.
Yeah, he blocked me on Instagram because I got mad when Tyson Fury won the title. When Tyson Fury won the title against Klitschko, this dude Deontay Wilder, he posted a picture of him. Like I guess it looked like the Great Wall of China or something like that. He was near some sort of wall or monument, and this is like right after Tyson Fury had just won the title. He's like, he types it in all caps. He's like, now I'm the best heavyweight in the world, and if you deny it, you're gonna look stupid. I'm the best out there. Da 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 da. So then I comment on it, and I mentioned his name in it, so I made sure he got it. I was like, I got mad, and I said, I mean, you haven't really fought anybody. Like, you haven't fought anybody to earn that spot. In fact, I would have a hard time saying that you're a top 5 heavyweight even with the title. You're not better than Klitschko. You're not better than Fury. You're not better than Ortiz. And I have a hard time saying that he's better than the likes of guys like Anthony Joshua, Brian Jennings. Those guys to me, I feel are either even with Wilder or better. So that's what it is. And even a guy like, even though he hasn't beat anybody, I would even say a guy like Charles Martin gets more credit because Charles Martin just won his title. He's going to go fight Anthony Joshua overseas. So I mean, I just got frustrated because Wilder came out very arrogant, and this dude on Instagram after Tyson Fury just defeated the longest reigning heavyweight champion since Larry freaking Holmes, and you're talking about on Instagram you're the best heavyweight in the world when you fought. The best guy you fought was a Bermain Stavern that was not. First of all, Bermain Stavern isn't that like he's a good fighter, but he's not like an elite fighter. Bermain Stavern beat Chris Arreola to win the title. Chris Arreola is a glorified journeyman. But that being said, Bermain Stavern, when he fought in the ring, this is not Wilder's fault, but Bermain Stavern was very ill. Thunderdome's talked about it a lot. Shout out to him about Bermain Stavern was dehydrated, very very just dehydrated, and he had a couple of things wrong with his blood flow and his blood cells, and he was a beat fighter, and Wilder couldn't even knock that very bad version of Bermain Stavern out. So when I look at that, I look at the fact that this dude has a steel rod in his right hand, and he's getting an advantage on guys. I look at that and the opposition he's been fighting, regardless if he has a title or not. I can't even say that he's better than Klitschko, Fury,
and bash him.
Yeah, or Joseph Parker, who's a young guy coming up, or Charles Martin, or like, for example, like another thing that happened too, and I did an interview about this. Shannon Briggs' team put up $2 million to go fight him, and he didn't even want that fight. That would have been very marketable. Shannon Briggs would have done way better and got way more of a response, way more hype in Brooklyn, where he's from, at the Barclays Center, than Arthur Spilka. So that's just how I see it.
You be having Shannon Briggs on your show like every week.
I do.
Let's go, champ.
That's the homie, Shannon Briggs. You know, I go. The gym is pretty close to me, and you know, I'm hoping he gets a solid fight. You know, I want him to see him fight somebody decent eventually. I'm sick of him fighting, you know, like high school teachers and fat guys. So hopefully, I love Shannon. Don't get me wrong, but I want to see him get his shot. So whether it's against a guy like Wilder,
Deontay Wilder.
I don't like him. I want to get behind him. I'm trying really hard to get behind him because, like I said, I respect every fighter. Anybody that puts on gloves, I respect anybody that's an American heavyweight champion. But just how he acts and how he was after Fury won the title. You know, Fury just beat the guy, and had Wilder been the guy to defeat Klitschko, you would have seen, you know, a parade like never before. Because if that's him acting like that, not even being in a damn fight, just imagine if he would have somehow beat Klitschko. So I mean, it's just to me, I like his story. I like his fighting style, but I just don't like a lot of how he's been acting in the media, and you know, that's what it is, man. So I mean, Deontay Wilder, he's got to do more to prove he's got a lot more to prove to me before I can sit here and call him this elite heavyweight that the American media and the fight world at large is just hyping up. That's how I see it.
Wow,
I concur.
It's very rare to hear you like come after a fighter like that.
Yeah, I try not to because I want to respect every fighter. Like, you know, I mean, I know, like, for example, you know, I know you're a big Danny Garcia guy, but you know, Danny has quality wins. I give him this credit. He beat.
Oh, you don't like Danny Garcia? And
I don't. I give Danny Garcia credit. He does have a couple of quality wins. He
beat Robert Guerrero.
He beat Amir Khan, Lucas Matisse. You know, he's actually done things that give him some sort of legitimate claim in boxing. Wilder, on the other hand, he's fighting guys like Jason Gavern. Jason Gavern lost to
Peterson too, and you ain't think he won that fight?
No, I didn't think he won that fight. But what I'm saying is, Danny Garcia, I still do give him credit for like other opponents. He's done things he's a legitimate fighter. He's a legitimate champion. Huh?
You're Puerto Rican.
Yeah, I'm Puerto Rican. Okay. I'm Puerto Rican, but.
By the way, there is a video out of a punch count, kind of like they have the Manny Pacquiao slowed down version for how they have Manny beating Floyd.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about that? They have Danny Garcia beating Lamont Peterson.
Did they?
Yeah, they have a video, a punch count.
I'm shocked.
I gotta check that out, but.
He's flabbergasted.
I'm flabbergasted. I thought Lamont won that fight, but you mean whatever. It was a close fight. But what I'm saying is, Danny has some stake as to like Danny actually has more of a claim of being a legitimate champion. He's beaten top flight fighters like Khan, Matisse, guys of that nature. Wilder's best wins are against a guy in Thurman, and now if you want to put Spilka in there, but like look at the guys he's fought. He fought Jason Gavern. Jason Gavern's a guy who's a career journeyman, lost to a 47-year-old James Toney with brain damage. He fought a guy in what's his name, Malik Scott. Malik Scott, good fighter, but go look at the footage. Malik Scott, from the looks of it, looks like he took a dive. Wilder didn't hit him too flush with that right hand, so I'm just going off of what I see. And what I see is a guy that the powers that be in boxing are hyping up a lot. A guy that is marketable, and they're hyping him up for that reason, but he has to test himself against better opposition. And like I said, he's got a chance here. Rafael talked about it earlier. He lost a purse bid to Povetkin, so now he only has two options. It's either vacate the damn title, or you go to Russia and you fight Povetkin. And like I said, Povetkin's an older fighter, and Povetkin is a legitimate challenger. Okay, so
see, this is what I was talking about earlier. We're gonna have to start taking that flight.
Yeah, to Russia.
Yeah, start taking that flight, man. Get your jackets and your coats ready.
So Wilder, I think a lot of his true colors, if they haven't shown already, are going to show a lot now with this whole Povetkin thing going on, because he's either got to vacate the title, always got to go to Russia. If he goes to Russia, full credit to him. I don't even care if he wins or loses. The fact that he's actually doing what he said he would do, because when he got in Theory's face, he was talking about, well, I'll go to your backyard, I'll do this, I'll do that, but he has a chance in front of him to go to somebody's backyard and prove to the world that he can beat not just a fighter, but a ranked, legitimate opponent in Povetkin. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Wilder's going to do. Hopefully he takes the fight. Hopefully he can prove me wrong, because I want to give him his credit.
You think he's gonna take that fight, Don, or is he gonna?
Well, against Povetkin?
Yeah, because that title is everything for
Nope.
him. You don't think he's gonna? So he's gonna drop the title?
Oh, they're gonna say something went wrong.
There's a way out, right? There's a way out of this.
There's a way out.
Yeah, he doesn't have to.
If you really
I
wanted
don't know what the way out is, but from what I read, he was going to take the fight.
I mean, he's
Yeah, that's what it sounded like. It's true. That's what I
But
heard.
what are they saying? Are they saying is some problems making it?
No, it's the money.
It went to a purse bid, and then Povetkin's team won. So now he only has two options: either fight in Russia or vacate the title. So
Vacate.
he's gonna vacate it.
It's sad, Then I have to start the I like Deontay Wilder a lot, and I have to start to agree with Brendan Teller on some of the things that he's saying if he vacates that title, because I mean, how can you claim to be the best and you're not taking on the best and you're the champion? Vacating the title is like with Riddick Bowe.
Oh yeah, when Riddick Bowe was supposed to fight Lennox Lewis.
Oh yeah, he threw it in the trash.
Right in the trash.
And look how Riddick Bowe is viewed now. So I mean, is that what Wilder wants? But that Povetkin fight, questions will be answered, and y'all say, but I don't know where you go with Wilder if he vacates. I mean, how are you going to make pay-per-view or anything, and he's going to be looked at as a ducker?
I mean, personally, like, I don't know how realistic this is. I'm just gonna throw this out there, but I would like to see Deontay fight either one of the two American heavyweights at some point this year, like whether it's Jennings or like a Charles Martin, just because those guys, Brian Jennings, tough, you obviously support the Philadelphia fighters. He's a tough guy, been there with the best. He had some really good rounds against Klitschko, had some success against Luis Ortiz, and eventually before he got stopped. But that I think that'd be a very tough fight for Wilder. If Spilka's in there giving him trouble, Spilka, a guy with good boxing skills, but not elite boxing skills, go in there and look good against Wilder, steal some rounds. There's no way that Jennings can go in there and do good work against Wilder. So that's a good fight if they can make it happen. I know Jennings is with Gary Shaw. Gary Shaw does work with Al Heyman. So there's that. Then you have Charles Martin, who's going to the UK to fight Anthony Joshua. If he somehow comes out on top of that, then there you go. You have a big fight there. And even if he doesn't, he's still a top 15, top 10 challenger. A guy that's held a title. Even though he won it in very weird fashion, still a guy that has size, can punch. And is young, and which is something that Deontay Wilder hasn't fought any of. In fact, I was going to do a resume video on this because in South Florida, in a notebook, I actually have it written down. I have his resume. I have like the resume of his last 7 opponents written down. I was going to do a whole video on it.
I look forward to that.
A lot of the guys he fought, Audley Harrison, Malik Scott, all these guys, they're all older guys. I think the average age when I did the math was about 34 years old was the average age of his last 7 opponents. And when you look at that, he's had the youth advantage against those guys. Against Jennings, Martin, he's not fighting young or old guys, old faded ex-champions or guys who are CED level fighters. He's fighting guys that have at some point in their careers been on the big stage, aren't past their prime or in their prime, can punch or are crafty in some other facet of boxing. So at some point, I'm not putting any timetable on it, but at some point within this year to early next year, I think Wilder should consider fighting one of those 2 American heavyweights, whether that be Jennings or Charles Martin.
Well, there it is, folks. You heard it first from BT and Don Juan, your boy Raph.
I mean, I'm blown away with because I usually don't hear BT come at anybody like that.
Yeah, I mean, it takes me a lot for me to really go off on something like this. It's just
Reminding me of Marco Rubio.
He is from Florida, so shout out to Marco Rubio.
And he's Hispanic.
He is Hispanic, and if I'm reminding you of Marco Rubio, I'm working.
No, because Marco Rubio. The reason why I say that is because Marco Rubio just started coming at Trump out of nowhere. So I mean,
I know that.
And you got blocked. I mean, I would think you're kind of one of the nicest of people who does interviews, and you've been blocked by Deontay Wilder. And
man, that takes a lot, man.
Danny Garcia. He hates Danny Garcia. Yeah.
I don't like Danny Garcia, but like I mean, respect him. I can't stand Danny Garcia.
I got blocked by James Kirkland.
For what?
I was blocked by.
He got blocked by James Kirkland.
Yeah, because I told him that he needs to retire after he got washed up by Canelo.
How do they know you be saying this? They be really on their Instagram like that? On their Twitter?
Yeah, because he...
They don't want to front like they're not on Instagram, but they're really on Instagram, all right? So...
Yeah, they really check this stuff. Yeah.
I mean, somebody...
Like, shout out to Shane Mosley, man. Shane Mosley responds to his people on Twitter.
Wow. Okay. When his next fight?
That I don't know.
That reminds me. Yo, I know, Raph, you asked me earlier about covering the Zab Judah fight. You know Zab Judah's fighting soon, Don. You know that, right?
Yeah, I love him.
I like Zab too, but he needs to officially just hang it up, man. I love Zab, but he needs to hang it up.
No, don't say that, man.
I love Zab, but come on, man.
I think he has the.
He can still be some solid guy, like you know, C-level guys, but
I still think he has the right to fight. I mean,
for his well-being, you know, I don't want to see that in there. It really pains me when these guys who had you know, good careers and did
solid resumes,
did things in boxing. They stay in the game too long, and they get hurt real bad. You know, look at a guy like Roy Jones Jr. I love Roy Jones.
Oh, I wanted to talk about that so bad. He's fighting.
When Enzo McAnally was just piecing that dude up and just slumped him, you know, that really hurt me because Roy Jones Jr. is a guy that I grew up watching, and just like, you know, I'm sure all of us here at one point in time watched. So, you know, I want him to get out of the boxing, you know, as far as a fighter. You know, if you want to stay and train fighters, you know, like I see him do with guys like Devin Haney, you know, he's the guys that are coming up, or you know, commentate like he's going to be doing tomorrow at the Crawford fight. Hopefully I see him.
Roy Jones gonna be there?
That's what I heard. Harold Letterman told me that today.
He working for PBC now?
No, for Crawford. For the Crawford Lundy fight. Roy Jones.
You say he? Oh yes.
Yeah. He'll be commentating.
Yeah, he's gonna be there.
Job after he got knocked out.
Nah, I was told today by Harold Letterman he'll be commentating. So.
Wow.
Fighting a fan now, and I think that a man that was pound for pound fighting a fan, you can't drop no lower than that. I really it hurts his legacy. It hurts. I think he has the concussion syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't know what he's doing anymore. And somebody needs to stop.
Oh, the CTE.
Yeah, he has that. You know, he's really messed up. He shouldn't be fighting no more. He's messed up.
It's crazy though.
He won't be.
He speaks so articulate.
Not no more. Did you hear the fan?
He speaks so. Oh no! Wait, what? What happened?
It's starting to show more and more. He's starting to get slurred.
Oh man.
He talking about it ain't gonna happen.
I hope you know what? Like when I look at the guys with slurred speeches, like one guy that comes to mind, and it's so sad when I think about it. But like James Toney, man, I can't even understand what he's saying at the time these days.
Like
this one guy, he just fought Bradley. I forgot his name.
Who guy?
The last guy that fought Bradley.
Jesse Vargas?
No, the last guy, very last guy that fought Bradley.
Oh, Brandon Rios.
That dude, man. Oh my gosh. I think he's hilarious. I think he's proven a lot in boxing, but that's a guy I think he should really think about it. I don't think he should be in there.
Oh, me neither.
That's
You
just
know,
my
it's
take.
funny too because Rios, he had his fight against Alvarado, and he straight up destroyed Alvarado. He looked like the best version of himself, like we've ever seen. And then
Hmm.
Cameron Duncan and top ranked team, they had problems getting him in the ring, and that's why he got upset because he couldn't make the weight, and he basically had a fat camp rather than just working on his skills because he'd been out of the gyms for so long. But that's on him. He's got to stay ready. You know, you stay ready, so you have to get ready, like Hank Lundy says. So he didn't do that, and it showed come fight night, and that's why Bradley was able to stop him. And you know, I think I'm with you, Raph. I think he should hang it up. His dedication clearly isn't what it once was, and that's what it is. So hopefully Rios can, you know, if he's gonna keep fighting, hopefully they don't put him in too tough, but they probably will because that's usually what he does: fight tough fights.
Yeah, he's a tough customer.
Yep. So that's what it is, man. That's what it is. It's like, what is it, 12:57? Wow, it's 2 hours already.
Yeah, you got an interview tomorrow, man.
I do. I'm actually, Don, I'll be interviewing, I'm going to this hotel. I think I told you that. I'm going to this hotel.
Oh man, I can't wait, man.
I'm going to be interviewing Terence Crawford, strength and conditioning coach. His name is
Oh boy.
Des Wolford. That's his name, Des Wolford. He also does a little bit of training. He trained some NBA players as well here and there. I think he trained, I was told he trained Tracy McGrady for a little bit. So my personal favorite. So looking forward to that.
And that worked.
BT Teller.
Oh, yeah, man. So I actually got to be up for that in about, what is it, almost 1 o'clock. So I got roughly 8.5 hours before I have to
Get some sleep, man.
I need to get some sleep. So I'm thinking we're gonna end it here. You guys got any final thoughts?
No, I'll be watching this fight, big fight.
Yeah.
And subscribe.
Subscribe, yes. Subscribe. Enter the arena, as always. He's doing good interviews. He just did the fights that happened in Pennsylvania for Fox Sports.
Yeah, I'm gonna put up Hank Lundy. We just gonna cut it to small versions of his media work out of some of the things that he said, and I'm about to put that up tonight. So
okay, so you stay tuned for that. You know, you got your boy Rex Righteous. He got his channel, so go subscribe to that. Rex Righteous 1, and he's also here on True School Sports doing videos at times. So do that. Subscribe to TSS. You know, we're still coming up. You know, doing things the honest way. So that's what it is, and I'm looking forward to a great fight night tomorrow. It's going to be a very, very long, but fun day. So thank you guys for coming on the hangout. I really enjoy talking boxing with you guys as always.
Awesome.
And that's what it is, man. So until next time.
Three big fights.
Three big fights tomorrow. Yeah, so it's gonna be a great day. It's gonna be a great day for boxing. I'm looking forward to it. So we're gonna
Leo Santa Cruz, all that.
Kiko Martinez, all those guys. So we're gonna sign off now. Thank you guys for watching. Until next time, take care.